Hello everybody and welcome back to our lovely game here, Death's Curios. I nearly said the name of my other game, that wouldn't have been great, but aside from that, welcome back everybody. It's great to see you all here again, and welcome to our Halloween special of Death's Curios. So it's brilliant to have you all here. It just so lined up that we were on the right day and the right time to have you all here for Halloween. So we've got a beautiful Halloween episode coming up, and the cast are all in brilliant costumes, just for all of you today. So, before we begin, we ordinarily do a little game known as the Death's Deal, which is where I tell you a story and I give you a choice. But today is special. Today, I'm going to give you something that may have an effect on the game. You might see it, you might not, but I'm sure depending on what you vote on, we'll soon see. So as it's Halloween, and of course, as we have all of you beautiful people here, I thought I'd give you an option of what mask you would like to dress in this evening. So, I'm going to post up a little poll in a second. There is a good 5 choices. There is the Mighty Pumpkin, the Black Cat, the Skeleton, the Wise Zombie, or of course, the Ghoulish Ghost. So, vote on that. Let me know what you think, and what mask should somehow feature this evening. So aside from that, however, welcome back everybody, and yeah, tonight should be fun. Our crew are heading to a Halloween festival in the middle of Upper London, which no doubt offers to be both spooky and also no doubt very fun. I'm sure everything will be completely fine. So I'm going to go quickly over to a little video about our sponsors here today, and then straight after that we're going to get into the game. We're going to have everybody introduce themselves, and we're going to make sure that you know exactly what is going on this evening. So until then, I will see you all very soon.
Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
Hello everybody and welcome back. It's only been a short time since I saw you, but welcome again. So as you can see, we have our beautifully dressed up cast here this evening. We've all pulled out all the stops to give you some amazing costumes. So let's go around. We'll have them introduce who they are, who they're playing tonight, and then we'll go with a recap and get right on in to our game this evening. So we're going to go just to my side this way, which I've gotten used to the mirrored cameras now, so that was first time. There we go. Delilah, welcome.
Hi, I'm playing Delilah Berkeley, Lady Berkeley, and I'm Loria Luck. As for who I am the wife of a noble, and for this Halloween, our Halloween special, I'm supposed to be dressed up as some sort of weird dark flower fairy. I just look like a bridal juncture instead, so I'm going to pretend I'm a bridal juncture.
I mean, I'm sold on the bridal juncture, so that'll be completely fine. So, brilliant to have you anyway. I enjoy the costume, and moving straight on to the side to our appropriate vampire for the Day of the Vampires, Magdalena. Welcome back.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. I'm Lindy, and I will be playing Magdalena DeVille. She is a dampier and an eccentric artist, just trying to blend in London. I say trying as if she's actually attempting that. She's somewhat trying. But this Halloween, she is dressed up as Princess Magdalena Dracul of 15th century Wallachia. So, yeah,
it's a very historical costume.
It's very historical.
Well respected.
This is a historic piece I got at auction. Been keeping in closet for a while now.
I bought at pound store.
Yes, this definitely has not been in my closet for 300 years.
Ooh, well, you've kept the moths away from it very well.
Obviously,
so
that is what Moth Boy is for.
Of course, and speaking of Moth Boy, not a very good transition, but it's that child. Welcome back.
Hello. I'm Shakespeare, and I'm playing Miss Fairchild, who's a mourner of good standing, and, we're not going to tell the guild that she's got a son, because she'd be fired. So Miss Fairchild doesn't actually dress up for Halloween, because she has no sense of humour, and thinks it's frivolous. So she'll be wearing her normal clothes, whereas I am dressed up with a stunning eye motif, because I've been listening to too much podcasts with the beholding. So I have all of the eyes, because Miss Fairchild only has one, technically. So I thought I'd overcompensate spookily.
Oh, it's very good. We have a lot of eyes in the stream today, which is always fun. And speaking of only 2 eyes, Tilly Griffiths.
Hello, I'm playing Tilly Griffiths, known as the Cat Detective, which is why that is my moniker for today. I'm embracing it, because I'm never going to be respected as anything else. I'm Humbledore. You can find me at Humbledore6 on Twitter, and I cannot wait to see what horrors Hollow has in store for us tonight.
Cool, at least one. Speaking of horrors, Varuked, welcome back.
Hello, Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and I assume the doctor has but the one costume that he picked up years ago in Vienna, and hence this is all he's got, so that's what he's wearing.
Brilliant stuff. So, and I, of course, am Hollow. I'm your narrator for the night to take you through this dark and decrepit world and into a brighter area where there's a circus and some possible murders. So, speaking of a circus, last session, all of you had to deal with a few other things after coming back for the first time after a few days since the gang war in Lower London had taken place. You had learned a few things in that time, such as that the person who had threatened some of you was nigh unfindable. They'd covered all of their tracks expertly, and they'd left nothing to track, not even for the brilliant detective Tilly Griffiths. However, one thing did happen. A large event in Lower London that seems to have happened with some widows and some loved ones of the London gang took to it that they would attack Mickey and his American gang in Lower London, at which point Mickey, escaping with his life, though missing one ear, has made it to Delilah Berkeley's house, where he sought shelter, and she gave it him. He is currently hidden away in there where Dr. Varut did medical treatment on him, and overall, there was a lot of drama that happened there. There's a lot to cover, so I'd suggest watching that episode if you haven't after this episode. We also had a few other things go on, such as Miss Fairchild, of course, being asked by her child very sweetly, could you take me to the Halloween fair? The heart was crushed, squeezed, and very much turned to ash, and they gave in, and they're going to take Havelock to the Halloween fair. Tilly Griffiths, on the other hand, had an interesting little experience where a lady approached her and told her about a missing noble boy, a young lord, who had been in the area of the celebration that's been set up inside of a central domed garden in Upper London for a Halloween fair, and they had vanished. They're worried for what this means, and so far Tilly has been researching and researching in her own time up to the fair. And that leads us back to now. Tonight, the night of the fair itself. You've all been going about your days, doing your normal actions, going around making sure that for yourself, Magdalena, that you're at least slightly fed, and to, of course, make sure that your lovely, lovely housekeeper is well kept after, and Chicken Boy is not eaten. Delilah, you have been seeing to your new guest, and also, of course, trying to keep the spirit in your home at bay, or at least you think it's a spirit. Miss Fairchild, you have been about your business as a mourner. There's been a few ceremonies to attend in the last day. However, you are now prepared and ready to go to the festival. And Tilly, you've been looking further into the case, and not much currently stands out. You've been looking into different various cases of missing peoples, especially children, and especially noble children, within the last few years around this time of year. And you have noticed one thing. There is a strange connection between noble children in particular, who seem to be around the age that this boy was, in their sort of young teens. And seemingly, one thing that they have found at every scene of each of these crimes within the last 5 years has been a small little plush blue cat. Aside from this, however, which many of the detectives just assumed to be the kid's own toy, but it stands out to you as being in each of these reports. It's strange. Still, aside from that, no other evidence has been found, but you have managed to, of course, be given tickets to go to the event, as you have all been supplied them by the brilliant Magdalena, who has happily given each of you an invitation and, of course, a +1 to the Halloween fair. So, with that in mind, we'll begin as you all arrive. It's the evening at this point. The sun has gone behind the clouds. For only the few hours that you get of sunlight, it is very dark outside. However, there are lanterns that have been hung all the way across the road, leading up to this large dome with a very open door, and behind which you can hear the sounds of music, of cheers, of laughter, of people having fun. And even outside here, outside of the dome, you can see there's been food stands set up that have specially sort of contained areas that they are passing out meats and confectionaries to. And as you all arrive in your carts or walking, you do see each other and meet. So, you all see each other, and can you describe your costumes that you've come into this event? And if you have, of course, a child, what they're dressed as? We'll start
Miss
with Delilah.
Fairchild is... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, far away.
Delilah, you're muted.
Oh, I was like, who's starting what? Oh, me? I'm starting? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get the same way of
Uh,
intros. It's easy, because then I know the flow.
All right, so Delilah is actually dressed in like full black and red, and her face and everything has been painted very pale, at least the parts you can see past the respirator. She's outside right now, you can't see the rest. But from what you can tell, like flowers, it's like extremely elaborate headdress of flowers with eyes in them, and the way she walks is very like stiff, almost like a corpse. It seems to be her like more Western twist on the tales of the youngster bride, in which she will one day rise to become, a bringer plagues. But that's one day. Right now, she's just a very, very vampire-y bride from the east.
Good. We all like
And as for her baby,
brides.
Yes, it is a sort of vampire. It's like the Asian one. And as for her baby, her adorable little oh my god, her adorable teddy. He is dressed up as a little actually a little groom's boy. He's got a little flappy hat thing there, and he's got a little red thing as well. And he's got like his face painted white, and he's wearing red. He's adorable. He looks undeadly and adorable.
Brilliant stuff. And he seems happy to be here, if a little intimidated by all of your adult friends being around him. However, Magdalena, what do you show up as? Dare I even ask?
Magdalena shows up as the Wallachian princess from 1508. It's a very historically accurate costume, almost uncannily so. You think maybe you've seen a painting at some point of this person, maybe? But she's dressed up as that. She's carrying herself in quite a regal bearing as well, and she has a bat mask to blend in, and she is attending with Archibald, whom
So
he's
Archibald
probably dressed up. Yeah, what's he
is
dressed up as?
Dressed as Dracula. He has a long flowing cloak. He has
The little
swept
awkward.
back hair that has been slightly darkened. He is shaved for the occasion, and he is stood with sort of a straight back and a cane in his hand still. He leans gently on the ground. And aside from, of course, him being
I
a little
restrain
taller than Papa,
myself.
he's actually quite well done it. Aside from,
What
of course,
do you
the very
even do when your
stereotypical twist.
paramour dresses like your dad? Like,
I know, it's
Yeah,
a little
that's
awkward.
But Magdalena's got daddy issues as it is, so
That's also true. So she's like, it's a little awkward, but I mean, not like that awkward. And Chicken Boy, Cooper, he is
Yes.
dressed as a little vampire.
Oh,
So we basically look like a little vampire family, I guess.
except one of them dressed up as your dad.
so
Everyone wants to
Magdalena-
meet him.
So Magdalena shows up with Daddy and her child as she arrives at the place. However, Miss Fairchild, what are you dressed as? And of course, was Havelock dressed as?
Yes. Miss Fairchild is not in a costume. However, she isn't wearing her usual identifiably a mourner clothes. She's in a high-necked black shirt and a skirt, but she's not wearing her mourner's corset or any of the accoutrement. She's also wearing what looks like a black wrapped turban. So the absence of her intricate braided hairstyle makes her look slightly different. Havelock is barely recognizable as a child because he's wearing entirely black, a little black capelet with a massive black hood, and a short white plague doctor's mask. So it's like a plague doctor's mask, but like small and childlike, cartoony almost. Can't think where I've seen something like that before. And he's stepping, just behind her, and she's got a hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Permanently.
So Havelock is too on brand for my own channel, so I can't come in today. Unfortunately, it would be bad luck for me, I think. So Havelock lives. So aside from that, however,
Right.
Tilly Griffiths, what have you shown up as, and have you brought a +1?
She's chronically lonely, so no, she's not brought +1. However, as she has dressed up as a cat, although she is wearing this as well. Being cat detective, she's also wearing her mask, which helps hide her to an extent. And she's also wearing, oddly enough, like stripy tights, very like the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. She seems to have taken some inspiration from the books, and there's like stripes on her dress, and it's almost psychedelic to look at. And she does have a detective bag with her.
Brilliant stuff. And it's as you say and think that you're cripplingly alone, that you do hear footsteps.
No. Well, of course I hear footsteps. I'm in a public place.
Directly next to you, as a very recognizable gentleman walks by. He is in what looks to be a costume of... He's still wearing a suit, but it seems to be more fancy and a little more vampiric in look. But then he's got 2 little devil horns on his head as Mr. Grimoire shows up and looks over.
I love it.
I'm interested to see all of you arriving here. He says he looks over each of you. How goes the job?
Just going to push Havelock behind me.
It's going. I didn't expect you here.
God. Well, I mean, it's a very interesting occasion, is it not?
I didn't
Besides
think
that
you
point.
for celebration.
Well, I mean, we all need days off, Miss Griffiths.
Right, yes.
Besides, it seems you're very alone.
I'm fine. I've got work to do.
Of course, but... Well, I seem to have misplaced my ticket. Would you mind if I escorted you?
No, I suppose not.
Brilliant, he says, and kind of looks over the rest of you and nods. You're all looking delightful, by the way.
I look to one of them like, help.
As do you, Mr. Grimoire.
Of course,
the
of course.
last one.
Devilish almost, he says, and kind of flicks the little horns.
Ah,
Yeah,
so since you have a date with the devil himself, Tilly.
It's not a date. He just doesn't have a ticket.
Sure.
Here's your ticket. She hands over.
He takes it and nods. Thank you very much. So you're here on work then, Tilly? And what work would that be? And as I say that, we go over to the other cripplingly alone, Dr. Varukt.
Dr. Varukt has got a Venetian mask that he picked up years ago, decades ago actually, when he was in Vienna for one of their celebrations, and he had this old moth-eaten cloak that he had with him, and he's cut holes in it so that he can reach into his harnesses, and he's even got his bag with him because he is OCD and will not go anywhere without it.
Okay.
But You see, he is there with Shoeshine Sean, who has on Dr. Varuk's helmet from the war and one of his uniform shirts. And he's walking around with Shoeshine Sean as his +1 this evening.
Okay, so Shoeshine and Sean, the young boy, seems to look around at people's shoes as if like automatically scouting out the competition, but sort of seems to shake his head slightly. No, it's not business tonight. Sean, it's not business tonight. Right, there's a lot of business around here, isn't there, Mr. Varuk?
There is, but this is a festival, and you will behave yourself and have fun.
Aye, sir, he says and salutes.
This
Good,
boy.
good.
Ah.
And I ding
He
the
kind of
helmet.
looks over as well and goes, oh, the other two, the young'uns, the small uns.
Yeah.
What are
They'll
they?
be with-
Who are they? I mean,
Oh.
I know one of them's like some sort of birdman, and the other's like, I don't know what he is, like a
I
hatty
believe that
red person.
he is some sort of Far East vampire, maybe.
All right, that's pretty cool. No idea they existed, but that's always good to know. I like being educated in these things, and it helps. I can tell tales of it while shine people's shoes. So, you know, it's pretty good.
Trying to
Well,
help.
thank you for bringing me Dr. Varuk. I'm so happy you could get me in here. You have like a week of free shoe shines, if that's what you want, at least.
We'll work something out.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. You know, but seriously, it's real nice of you, so thank you. Never been up to Upper London before.
Well, this is the first, and like I said, behave. And then I ting the helmet again, like a bell. I flick it so it rings. So if you get stuck or separated, you hold that out and tap on it, and it will sound like a bell, and I will come running.
Yeah, we'll do. That sounds good to me. Right, he says. He kind of looks over at the rest of them, and whilst the other two, Havelock being still a bit quiet, kind of clinging on to you slightly, Miss Fairchild and looking around at people, and of course your own child, Delilah, Teddy, is kind of stood quite proudly, straight backed, you know, as usual, looking around kind of excitably, but holding it in, lesser so showing his excitement than, say, Havelock is. Sean kind of just looks over at them both and just kind of gives a nod.
And Cooper?
Cooper's stood, he's pretty confident. He's like, Sean! Oh, you're alright? yeah, I got a new job, actually. Yeah. Chicken boy, you got a job? Yeah, do you know as I found that chicken and then, like, I sort of, you know, it hatched? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, well, now I'm an official chicken keeper. Like some sort of coop hand. No, just chicken keeper. Right, yeah. I'm still shoe shining, so it's going pretty well, but apparently I'm good enough to come up here now. Doctor got me in. Oh, yeah, Doctor, he's been around a few times. He's pretty good. He's pretty nice, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, Miss Magdalena is the one that now kind of keeps me. She's real cool. She's really good. Yeah, all right. That makes sense. And what about these two? They both look towards Teddy and towards Havelock, who looks kind of awkward.
I kind of give my son a little light nudge on the back. Don't forget, Teddy, introduce yourself properly. Full name. If you do well, you should share some cake later.
So he steps forward and goes, I am Lord Theodore Berkeley, Berkeley Estate, next in line to the Berkeley Estate. It is a pleasure to meet all of you this eve. Yeah, all right.
While that conversation's going on, I'm just gonna step up to Miss Berkeley for a second.
Yeah.
And just lean in. Very sorry to alarm you, but I am looking into the case of a missing child of a noble. I think you should keep Theodore very close. And if you see a blue teddy, a blue plush cat anywhere, let me know.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Maybe I should have taken one of my servants here.
No. It's a great day. Just make sure you keep all the children close. I was going to take my newspaper boy, but I don't know this person's preference if he has any. And you've all seemed to have brought children. She looks very distressed at the idea.
Yeah, like I also look very distressed because we all just brought kids, and she's like, "Oh no!" She's like, "You don't suppose they would kidnap a 3-year-old, would they?"
I suppose not. It seems to be more teenagers of the noble bearing? And she kind of looks over to Cooper. I knew he was
Hi, Miss
not.
Tilly. Cat's going.
It's going rather well, thank you, Cooper.
You look good, by the way. You make a good cat.
Yes,
You do indeed.
yes.
You
It helps me find them. I've dressed in a similar manner to find some of my my
Oh,
quarry.
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I thought about that with the chickens, but I don't know. I mean, using a lot of the feathers, and then I thought like I'd look a bit weird if I was just running around like a big chicken. But then you know what? I mean,
Please do
it
not
works
run
for you,
around
Miss
the
Tilly.
house
It must
with
work for
feathers
me.
attached to you.
It might very well work for you. However, I've heard that your skills with chickens are quite remarkable,
yeah.
and you don't need to dress up as the creatures to charm them.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you always got chickens. They're smart creatures. They have very nuanced brains. I think that's a word. So they they're pretty sneaky. But I think like if I became one of them, they'd like me more. I've got a golden one.
You do?
Interesting.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like that one.
What have you called him?
Cobb.
Cobb.
K-O-B.
Oh my god.
Oh my
And
god.
she kind of like just absentmindedly claps her hands together. Blessings upon you, Lord Bok. And then, excellent. Well, I do have to be getting in and away. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. I hope to see you around.
I mean, we're all going together, aren't we?
Are you Tilly this evening?
Yes. I'm always Tilly.
Oh,
Yes.
you're here anyway. Why don't we all just
Yes, you are
enjoy
always
the
Tilly, and
festivities?
I am always Magdalena DeVille.
Safety in numbers, surely. Miss Fairchild
Indeed,
looks
and
about
if
like
you've
this
said-
close to just going. Like as soon as someone said kidnap,
Yeah.
she's just like, no. So she looks very close to just turning around and leaving with Havelock. Like,
Yeah, pretty
no.
much.
How about this? I come and find you if I found anything. You keep all your children close.
Yes,
But
keep
wouldn't
the
it be better
children
for
close.
She kind of looks
Wouldn't it be
away,
better
though.
for you to be near in case any of our children get, attacked or kidnapped?
I mean, you're their guardian. I'm
Kids nap all the time. They sleep so much.
not sure what you.
We're talking about someone taking them against their will, Magdalena. By the way, I have to say, your costume, it's so historically accurate. I've been wanting to say this. It's amazing. Almost as if a piece from that time period.
Thank you. I take history very seriously. I've studied many paintings, and it's made a reproduction of what you could say.
So it's
My
at this
tailor would
time
love
that
to
you
meet
sort
you.
of
It's genius.
got to the front of the queue, and the two people that are at the doors kind of look over you all, check your tickets, and let you all in. And as you sort of are led through the doorway and into the main chamber, you do see a massive dome that seems to have a big light on top of it. It seems to be galvanically powered. It looks almost like a sun in the sky, but they've seemingly draped some cobwebs over it and some bats that hang from the top. That means that there's shadows cast all around the area. And you do see that there is a beautiful garden that is laid out around the edges of the area, but the middle is a rather open sort of patio kind of area, and there's a lot of sort of paved areas as well. And you see there's various attractions that have been put down. There is a big house that looks to have been constructed recently that says Big Scary House on the top of it. There is what looks to be a apple dunking competition. There seems to be big wells with loads of apples placed in them that you can see people going in and dunking for with their head and no hands. There are a couple of other attractions as well to look at when you get closer. There is a old gallows that seems to have a completely fake sort of inoperable stretchy rope that people can go and stand in and take like sort of little photographs in. There's a photographer there. And there is also what looks to be a maze of sorts, a little hedge maze that's been constructed.
There is no witch burning? I was hoping for a good witch burning.
There is no witch burning, unfortunately. You also see a couple of other constructions there, but you see a big tent nearer the back end of it that seems to have lights sort of flashing on it from different torches that have little hoods that they're popping up and down to sort of flash and show it off a bit more. And you can see a massive circus tent Out front of it, you see a very sort of well-dressed up person in a big long red coat with a big top hat that seems oversized, that is sort of shouting out about the circus and performances and laying out when the performances will be. And aside from that,
Cooper.
people moaning about. There's a lot of them.
Now remember, Cooper, vampires do not say bleh.
Yeah, all right. That's obvious, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Magdalena.
You would think it's obvious.
And of course yourself, Lord Archibald. Thank you very much for bringing me. It is an esteemed honor, he says, and Archibald kind of nods and goes, "Oh, you're fine. Thank you, Cooper Chicken. But how about you run along and go and play with the other
You'll
children?"
have fun if someone tries to steal you, kidnap you. Just yell, Magdalena, I'm being kidnapped.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay.
What about you? What about you, Sean? He kind of looks up at you, Varut. It's all right if I go, Mr. Varut.
Go ahead, have fun.
Oh, sweet, let's do it, Sean. I'm Sean. He says, the cat looks at it and goes, "You're Cooper." And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm Cooper." And then they both kind of gather and they look over to the rest of you. What about them two? Are they coming? We're going to go and do some donking and do the scary
Miss
house.
Fairchild's hand just tightens on Havelock's shoulder.
Havelock looks at
I'm afraid not.
All right, fair enough.
Remember
Well,
not to inhale underwater while dunking for apple.
yeah, that's how you drown, miss.
Yes,
Sean.
good. Glad to know this. All right, go have fun. You're so young. I do not know what you know. You're so such baby.
All right, we're going to go. They say, and they run off into the distance, sort of losing. You lose them in the
As soon
crowd.
as they run up, I'm like, yep. What, did they exist? I don't. Just immediately. She's not worried.
So just
Object
right?
permanence, you know.
Cooper and Sean.
Yeah, Sean and Cooper have gone, so...
Okay, cool. Cool. This is fine. I just kind of look at my child and just like, you did not wish to go with them?
Yeah, I do. I would like to go with them, but I didn't want to, of course, go unless you said I could.
She gives him a little ruffle on the head. When you're a little bit older, you can go.
Okay. He says and nods. It's rather loud here, isn't it?
As it should be. You know, from where Mum comes from, it used to be a lot like this all the time, especially for Halloween. Except there was
And
less fog
it's at
everywhere.
that stage, as you say that you hear loads of screams coming from the big scary house. Like that.
Oh my god, yes!
I like that place. I think we should go.
I like
Yes,
it too. I wonder
that
if they sell
sounds
candied
like-
apples here.
Oh, they certainly do, Miss Berkeley. And may I say, Lady Berkeley, it is a lovely time to see you. How goes your estate? Says Archibald as he looks at you.
We're in the middle of still finishing with the renovations and the like, of course. You know how Ned can get. Making sure everything's back to its old, restored form is taking its time. Naturally.
Well, the house is very historical, so I imagine it would take a long time to get right.
Yes.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, Magdalena, you enjoy your time with your friends. I'm going to go and see the few people that invited me here. It's probably best to make sure I know when I'm to do my speech. He says,
Of course.
give
I
you all
will
the
see you.
marks.
And
I'll
she'll
see
do
you
the kiss, and then
It's the same. Be good before he gets going.
As soon
Gives
as
you
he
a bit of a-
leaves, I give him a curtsy and, just a quick little nod. And as soon as the gentleman leaves, I kind of turn to the rest of them. I do have a bit of information, by the way, for a lot of you. Where's Tilly again? Did she leave? I kind of look around, make sure she didn't leave yet.
No, she doesn't leave, but she looks like she's like scanning around. She's trying to look at where the gardens are.
They're
Are
all
they near-
around. So
Okay,
they're sort
okay.
of on the outside edge is where the gardens are. The hedge mage is off to the top left. Then you've got the scary house just in front of where the hedge maze is, not the mage. And you've also got other events kind of strewn about the place and a massive crowd that's going through there with it.
Did
so-
Chelsea Barrow say Windsor, like what area she lost him in? Was it around the carnival tent?
It was around the area. She said she didn't know specifically, but she let him go for a bit. And then when she went to look for him, he vanished. She couldn't find him again. She did say that possibly the people near the carnival know. Maybe the people who are putting on the show from the circus would know. But other than that, she has no idea.
Okay. You see Tilly then, like, looking over, like, to the carnival tent. And, like, she's, like, twitching her foot a little bit. Like, she wants to get going.
Go to the carnival.
I
yes.
imagine there's plenty on your mind right now, Miss Tilly. Though I have something else for you. She gives you a little piece of paper.
She takes it. Gives it a quick read.
It's the little, it's the contact info that I got last time with my talk with Mickey.
Contact info. Oh, of the third party.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her anything. I didn't tell her anyone about talking with Mickey. By the way, it's just a slip of paper with contact information on it.
Yeah, you're given a slip of paper that has a name on it and an address on it, but nothing else and no other details. But
There's a name
with
stalker.
your memory, could you please give me a very quick wit check, please?
Sure, I can. When I get... Oh, I haven't actually gotten into thingy. It's not good.
It's not the best.
No. It keeps erroring for me.
Okay, well, we'll sort that
Well,
soon.
yeah,
if
while
you
I'm
just
doing
give me-
that, I'll just quickly do a roll. I'll do 2. So that's a 5 and a 10. That's 20.
Okay, on a 20, you recognize the writing immediately. The writing is Mickey's.
And I
it's very
look towards
And it's on
Delilah.
paper from Delilah's house, with a pen from Delilah's house.
Do I recognize the name? At all?
You don't. You've never heard this name.
What is the name?
It just says Ted.
Just Ted. Just Ted. Ted. I look like a little bit worried towards Delilah. Right. Thank you. Are you expecting me to get into contact with this person?
That's our in, so to speak, for the auction.
Right. Right.
I did not know if you guys had.
We should discuss this later. There might be an alternate means of getting in, but this definitely could come in handy.
This would be... The favor's already done, so I would rather we use it.
Right. Well, excellent then. That solves one problem. Hopefully then, if we get on with this other case, we'll be able to acquire some funds to get what we need. So good work, Miss Berkeley.
Give her a little half nod, and then I just kind of sigh a bit to myself as I hold my hand out for my my kid and hold his hand.
Okay,
Right,
so
then.
you do so. Ted holds it and nods. So where to first? Oh, also,
That
sorry,
mansion
he
does look
goes over to Havelock and kind of goes, I am Lord Theodore Berkeley. It is a pleasure to meet you. And Havelock kind of looks over and goes, I'm Havelock. Nice to meet you. And you. And they start nattering away.
Miss Fairchild's just going to monitor the conversation in case she needs to pull Havelock away.
No,
He
it's
might
really
say
innocent
something.
stuff. They're just talking about what they do, and Teddy's telling him about his favorite studies and his toys, and Havelock's telling him about his. It's very innocent sort of talk, and they're talking about the things around them and the scary spiders and things they can see, and the witch over there, things like that. They're just generally chatting like kids do.
Miss Fairchild doesn't get any less stressed. Mm-mm.
That's fair.
Where did Cooper and where immediately did Cooper and that head off to? Did they get were
head
they
off
seemingly
towards the event.
Okay?
So,
Were they go to a specific attraction because they're a little bit older, aren't they?
They are a bit older, but they are still kind of in the right age range for some of these things. They're sort of all ages, but basically, you're kind of near the entranceway, and then there's like a bit of a walk towards a more open area with all of the attractions in, and essentially they walked towards there. So you've lost them in a crowd by now. There's that many people that they're just gone for now. You could probably find them if you find what attraction they're on, but at the minute, it seems like they're all
It
gone.
was more to get an insight onto the teenage boy brain of what they'd be interested in first, rather
You
than.
can try and spot them. Give me a very quick wit check.
Okay, that is perception, so that's a +7. 22.
Okay, on a 22, you immediately spot them. You see that They seem to have ran almost immediately up to the gallows, where they're currently both stood. They're raised up so you can see them quite easy over the crowd, but you see them both sort of wearing it and then making faces, and the other one looking very stern, and then basically the person taking the picture, and then they swap, and then the other one holds it around the neck and is going like, ah! And then they take a picture, and then he's like, they kind of have a laugh about it. That's what they seem to do first. But you do see them point off at that point, and you see him point towards the scary house next. And then disappear back into the crowd.
Where would everyone like to head first?
The house looked interesting.
Miss
Plenty of
Fairchild just
strings
looks
and
at Havelock.
extra juicy brews.
Yeah, Havelock looks back at you, Miss Fairchild, and kind of goes, maybe apple bobbing or something? Maybe something a bit easier at first. The scary house seems scary. Maybe go there later. Though you will protect me, so...
Of course.
We can do scary house later after, we walk around a bit, maybe work up an appetite.
Of course.
And we can check when the carnival is supposed to be on as well.
Yes.
And it's at a time that you do over as sort of the new announcement comes in. You do hear a voice ring out as you hear, "Come one, come all to the Starfall Circus where our show is beginning in only 20 minutes. If you want your spaces, you better come soon or else you'll lose it and have to wait a whole hour."
Apple bobbing for 20 minutes, then head over to the carnival.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right. Okay, and with that, so go about. So you all attend to the apple bob, and you line up for around 8 minutes to get to the front of it, as it does take a lot of time to queue, and they have worked out these queues quite strictly and tidily. But you do eventually all make your way towards the front, and you see big tubs full of water up to the brim, and you see just hundreds of apples that have been poured in, no doubt grown especially for the occasion, as apples are hard to get a hold of ordinarily. But they have completely filled it up, and it seems to be your turn, as they let in a group of 8 at each time, and they sort of gesture for you all to come in. Come in, it's fine. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, have a good time. So you get 3 bobs. You get 3 times to bob. You get an apple. Great. You can keep it. You can eat it. You can do what you like with it. You get all 3 apples. You get a prize. And of course, a few rules. If you do it, don't use your hands. Hands behind the back. Head bobs in. All right. Don't leave yourself in there too long. Don't breathe any water. We are not liable for any injury that you may have due to your own quirks. Brilliant stuff.
The whole time we were in the queue, the doctor was studying everybody. And
Okay.
he's when they get there, he puts his hands behind his back and he just stands there rigid, like there's no way I'm putting my head in that scuzz water that all these other people have been having their head in. But he's utterly intrigued by this study what may or may not happen to individuals who do put their faces in such a thing.
Magdalena's definitely
studying.
sticking her face in there.
About studying, by the way, narrator. This child that Miss Fairchild just brought in. Does he look like her? Is there like a family resemblance? Because she just brought this kid out of the blue randomly and like.
Had a moment, and I thought you were talking about your own child, and I was very confused. Anyway.
No, I like Delilah knows what type of pain she went through for him. Like no.
There is a slight resemblance, I imagine.
There is
Possibly.
no resemblance whatsoever. Nothing at all. And mourners are celibate and do not have families. So
Oh, that's
Fucking
fine.
weird.
Then it's probably some charity project she's taking on. That's normal, right?
sure, that's
Nephew.
totally normal.
Yeah, from what you remember, Miss
Nephew.
Fairchild doesn't have a beat face. So that kind of
So he just looks like the little boy. Like he just.
see like his jaw a bit.
That's fine. She just
He's
looks
wearing
like
a mask
curiously
and
at
a
the child
hood, so
occasionally.
he's just the only indication he's a child is that he's short.
Oh, well. I'll just kind of look over at the apple bobbing thing, kind of like distastefully. It's like, my makeup, unfortunately, will definitely lose itself in there.
Oh, of course, my lady.
So I would sit out.
Well, who else just going to go in. Who's actually going to give a bob? So Teddy
I
and,
will.
of course, the two kids are kind of like, yeah, we'll do it. And Maggie, you said it.
I want
What about you,
frights.
What's Mr. Grimmauld doing?
Grimmauld sort of looks over and just goes, none of you doing it? Dreadful.
My nose will melt off if I do. Would you mind going in my place, as you've already taken my
course.
+1 ticket?
Of course, if I get an apple, then you shall have it to me, he says and starts walking forward.
Who's going to hold his head under the water?
No, he's fine. We need him. And I'll start looking around for blue cat plushes instead.
Okay, give me
The
a very
entire
quick-
time is that's what.
just as you're looking around gradually, sort of whilst this event's going on. And otherwise, Magdalena, the two kids, and Mr. Lucifer Grimoire step forward then.
I have an advantage. I'm used to fighting moving targets.
You actually have a bite attack.
And I have fangs.
Miss Fairchild is just staying close enough that she can haul Havelock out of the water if he starts having trouble.
Yeah, so the gentleman who sort
I'll
of
be
set this
helping
thing
my baby
brings
be
him
high enough to actually reach.
Just hold them up.
to Havelock steps and gets sort of looks over the edge and then gets ready, kind of moves his beak up a bit, ready to dunk, keeps an eye out. And as for you, of course, Teddy, you lift them up and he gets ready as well. And they will give some checks. So I will give them both checks. So Havelock will go first. Badoop. Okay. And Teddy. Okay. Magdalena, could you give me a roll, please?
Yes.
Just give me a coordination roll or an attack check,
A
please.
coordinational. Okay. How recently was my snack?
It was probably like yesterday of some sort.
Okay. Did you know if it was within an hour? Do I get fang bonus?
You do. You can have a +2 for the fact that you've got fangs and you don't really need to breathe underwater as much. You know, they kind of hold their breath. You can hold it much longer. So I'm just going to do all 3 goes for these two.
Got a 19.
Very nice. So you easily get it.
15.
That's the second apple.
And yeah. I want all 3 apples. So and another 15.
How do you like them apples?
Yeah, so you kind of look into it and you just kind of go, grab one straight away, bring it up, pull it out. You look, you just hits again. Go in, grab one, bring it up, pull it out. Hits again, grab one, pull it up. And they just watch you do
Yeah.
this like one after
And then I'll take
another.
it. And then the last one, I actually just like take a nice big bite out of it.
It's juicy and lovely. It's a very nice apple. It's very refreshing. And
Most impressive, Mr. Ville.
And at the
Well,
same
thank you.
time,
You have lots of
Teddy-
practice.
so at the same time as this, Teddy and also, of course, Havelock are going to be giving it a go, and they don't seem to have as much luck. Havelock goes for one, misses entirely. Teddy goes for one, misses entirely, but they both do manage to get one at the very end, as Havelock manages to grab one, and so does Teddy. Mr. Grimoire, on the other hand, goes forward and gives his a go, and he gets 2 apples. But the third one, you see, he almost seems to bob one over towards one of the other kids' way, so they don't actually not get one. And it seems that Teddy gets one thanks to it. And other than that, he takes the 2 apples and kind of nods and wipes his face with the water and walks back over and hands you an apple. So it's very nice red.
This won't cost me anything, will it?
No, only, of course, your time to eat an apple.
Just checking. And she,
Yeah.
Miss Fairchild is side-eyeing Mr. Grimoire like so hard right now. Just from
So he
across
takes a bite.
the barrel, like.
And as he does, you see his eyes do catch yours for a second before they just kind of turn away as he crunches down on the apple.
I got a 20 on my check, by the way, for perception.
Meanwhile, whilst you're checking and looking around for any signs of blue cats, you see a couple. You see there is a couple of stores selling little cat plushes that seem to be a blue-black. And indeed, this current one that you're on now seems to be one of them, as with a couple of you winning, well, one of you technically, Magdalena, You're taken up to a big stand of prizes that seems to consist of a Dracula plushes, of Frankenstein plushes, of what seems to be many different candle types. There are small pumpkins on there, and there is also some cats and some bats. And they take you over and go, take your pick, what would you like?
She kind of looks between. She's like looks between the little Dracula and the little bat because she had many pet bats growing up.
And as you look, could you give me a wit check?
Oh no! Yes, I can. A wit check. Oh, I'm not awful at that. Okay. 12.
You also spot what looks to be some sort of fluffier plush. It looks to be some sort of sheep.
Lirini has enough of those. She'll get the little Dracula plush.
Okay. So they give you one. And they give you a little Dracula plush, and they kind of hand it over to you. Here you go. It's been very popular today. It's the Year of the Vampire, so they're calling it.
Yes, as it should be.
Exactly. So be careful, though. Who bites?
Oh, I know. I am well aware.
The doctor studied the bite that Magdalena took out of the apple.
And she also had to pull her hair back, so you'd probably notice that her ear is completely good as new.
Alright. Just taking notes, that's all.
Look at these fang marks and the regrown ear.
Meanwhile, Tilly, as you've sort of looked over at these and you've had some time when you've been doing this, the two plushes in question, the two types that you see, are slightly different, but neither of them match the rough nature that you know of being left in the scenes of the crime by the blue cat. They're usually very homemade. You're also muted, so...
Sorry, you mentioned a name, like the cat. Has the kidnapper got a name?
They just refer to them as... They haven't really referred to them as much. One of them referred to them as the blue cat.
Okay. Sorry, I thought there was a different...
toys that are left placed in these blue cat toys that I have
homemade. They're not homemade. Okay. Alright. She'll just continue to keep an eye out on the children as well.
There's a lot of them. And there is a massive crowd around you, so it's hard for you to keep track. You do, however, see both Cooper and also Sunshine and Sean step into the scary house at this point. You see them disappear in the house.
Oh, Godspeed, gentlemen. And I step up to the upper bobber, actually.
Yep, that's fine. He kind of looks over, tips his hat and nods. Hello, you going to go for a bob after it?
Oh, no. I'm just checking up, that's all. We're looking for a child, and I was wondering whether he came by here at any point. And...
They need to be more specific, Mom. There's a lot of children.
I know. I'm just having to go over my brain. He had green eyes, quite pale. It was heterochromic. Each eye was a very different colour. It's quite striking. He was wearing a very nice suit. His name was...
I think I do remember somebody like that. The two different colour eyes thing, that's very noticeable. I don't see many people with that around here.
Around 14 years of age.
Yeah, I believe I saw them a while back, days ago, I think. They came in before most of the setup was done, I think.
Before most?
I only spotted them passing. I was setting up my bobbin at the time. I was getting the barrels nice and cleaned out, making sure everything was disinfected and the like.
Well, apples are excellent, sir.
They are, yeah. I grow them every year for this.
It's amazing. Did you see where that boy was heading? In what direction?
Last I remember, I think they headed towards the scary house first. They were having a look at the setup. They said they demanded to see this setup. So they went and they saw the setup. I think maybe towards the circus at one point.
Hey, how
but I said a lot of it wasn't really set up too much then. We had a couple events in the day just to kind of keep the kids happy that are a bit scared at night. And it always seemed to go well. Why? Is everything all right?
Oh, everything's fine. I'm just checking it for. But thank you, and good luck with your apple bobbing. It is wonderful. Thank you.
It is. Enjoy your apple, miss.
I will.
All right, you have a good night. He says, he kind of nods at you, nods at the rest. And the kids are still eating the apples quite happily.
Magdalena is savoring her delicious apple, and she decides to save one for Chicken Boy and Archibald.
Okay. That's nice of you. You pop those away.
She's
but
feeling benevolent.
It's so nice. You don't have them hardly any time. They're very rare
I know.
to see.
If it takes too long to find either of them, she might just eat them both. But
Still, you've all finished the bobbing. Where do you wish to go next? As you do hear a call come from across the way that does say, "The show will begin in 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Please come in, take your seat, get around, gather up, and we'll get on with our show."
Well, that sounds like a good time to go.
sounds like a show.
I believe
Indeed.
you're muted, Spare Child.
No. Sorry, I've only just really figured out this mute button. Miss Fairchild just looks at Havelock and says, "Do you want to see the circus?"
Mm-hmm.
Then I suggest we go there. And I look at everyone else like, that's settled then. Following the whims of the 5-year-old.
Circus is delightful, says Mr. Grimore and nods. Shall we then? We can get some good seats, I'm sure.
And
Yes.
the doctor is studying the relationship here between Miss Fairchild and Havelock using his psychology.
Yeah, sure. Give me a psychology check or a psychoanalysis check, please.
I've just assumed he's her nephew.
On an 18. Okay, so you can tell there is some sort of deeper connection there. You can see that there is something more going on here than you'd have initially thought. This doesn't seem to be a child that she's looking after for the night. It seems to be one that she's more familiar with, even though Miss Fairchild is very subtle with emotion and hardly ever shows it. There is that twinge of protectiveness that is just more there today than any other day. From that, you can also tell that the child, whilst you can't see their face to analyze that much, seems to obey anything Miss Fairchild says and doesn't question it too much. Make of that what you will.
And hence he does note it.
So,
And shall we go or the circus?
Off we go then.
Yes, I do not see why not. I like entertainment.
okay, so
Hopefully do
circus-
something new or at least entertaining this time.
As they walk towards the circus, Miss Fairchild is going to keep Mr. Grimoire in front of her.
Yeah, Mr. Grimore will be
Visible at all times.
Magdalena trusts him implicitly.
fine with
Do-
that. But yeah.
Do any of the ladies have not someone with them?
Magdalena doesn't currently because her dude ran off and she sent Cooper.
Okay.
Cooper, not Chicken Boy.
Then the doctor would offer an arm.
Oh, sure, why not? And she'll take it.
Okay.
Okay. So you head on towards the carnival and you make your way towards the circus tent then, and the gentleman at the front wearing his big top hat and his big red coat looks at you all and goes, welcome, welcome one and all. I see you're already booked in. Please do come along.
Do we recognise this gentleman?
You do. It seems to be the proprietor of the area, Phineas.
Ah, Mr. Phineas.
Of course, I recognised your name on the list. Miss Tilly Griffiths, cat detective extraordinaire. Welcome, welcome.
Yes, I unfortunately missed your last show at the museum opening, so I'm very excited to see what you have in store today.
Well, you've got some of the best seats in the house, I believe, so you should be fine for that.
Oh, I'm most flattered. I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Has a boy come through here with different coloured eyes?
Oh,
Young boy, from a few days ago.
Yes, I think I know who you mean. Yes, a young boy came to watch the show, actually, a few days ago. One of the only ones in the crowd, I believe. The rest of them were sort of away at the time. They demanded that we show him our show, and it was rather adorable, so we did. We had a few of our performers show a couple of their acts that were easier to put together in a way. They enjoyed it, and I believe they headed out.
Oh, I
Can't quite
see.
remember where. But they were in the crowd for at least most of the show that I saw. I couldn't see them at the end, but I assume they left, of course. The acts were over by that time.
Rebellious teenage boys, you know how it can be.
Especially Lord Miss Tilly, they are very demanding. As
Yes.
is their right, he says as he looks at the young lord next to the line.
Nice.
Well, if you manage to spot him around, or you believe anyone else would have seen him, please let me know. His guardian is suspecting that he's going through a bit of a rebellious phase.
Oh, as they do, I'm sure. I remember my rebellious phase. I started a circus and ran away, and look at me now.
Yes, it was never ended, much to our pleasure.
Exactly that, Miss Tilly, and you will see the fruits of my labor inside. Now, please enjoy the show. If I spot such a child, I will let you know immediately.
Thank you.
And Canva looks over at you all and nods at each of you, and then looks at Mr. Grimoire and goes, Mr. Grimoire, and then Mr. Grimoire nods.
As we're walking along, the doctor steps on his robe and trips, and sees if Magdalena just is like a tree and doesn't move when he trips.
Well,
Is
based on
she
what I've done every
preternaturally-
time someone has fallen in this show.
They're like supernaturally quick, unsnips her hand from where you're clasped and is.
Okay. All right, so it doesn't hold on like a tree. She slips out, and
Fastly quickly, however.
Oh,
very
yeah.
Goodness.
Really, probably unnaturally fast. And then she's like, oh, you've fallen. This is so terrible. Here, I will help you up.
I
And she's
appreciate it.
just-
Thank you.
But she doesn't have any problems helping you up. It's like, whoop.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, I must hem it up a bit. And
I did not notice you tripped. I was reminiscing about my rebellious phase. Started the war. Just magnetism.
What?
I'm sorry, what was that part, Mr. Phil?
What? The show is going to begin. We should get in our seats.
Yes, quite.
No, it's fine. You have 4 minutes left.
Oh, yes, it was akin to a war, my rebellious phase. It was my father and I, we just argued a lot. It was very messy.
Anybody
old
who's
is
looking,
Magdalena?
give me a wit check on that, because that's like, or a psychology check. And also, Magdalena, could you give me a very quick charm check, please?
Okay.
Well,
My
can I tell that
best
she's
stat.
lying at least?
You can if you roll me the check to see.
Yes, sir. Yes, I will.
To be fair, I already know that she's like hundreds
Yeah,
of years
you
old
do.
anyway, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh,
Intellect, so it's +1.
Oh my
Miss
God.
Fairchild is still reeling from the last time she found out something about Magdalena, so is just not paying attention.
Understandable.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, so you were unsure, Varuk. You have a think, and you're like, that seems to check out. However, Delilah, you can tell she's like bold-faced lying. Like, she is lying so hard right now, and is so obvious to you as somebody who mingles in the upper circles of society.
So this, plus her extremely historical costume, plus her every single other thing she's ever said, she looks at her for a very long time.
You see the lady dressed.
with the Dracula doll.
With the Dracula doll.
Yeah, holding the Dracula doll.
Yeah.
Does the Dracula doll look
uncanny.
accurate, or does it look like the Count from Sesame Street?
It's basically like the Count from Sesame Street.
That is cute. Cooper will like having little role model.
Yes, I can almost see a resemblance
Role
to yourself,
model, say.
Mr. Bill. Quite remarkable.
I
Just in your costuming.
Yes, my costuming is very, very accurate, historically speaking.
It is.
What is
And the
Magdalena?
show's about to begin.
What'd you say, Varuk?
Oh, what's Magdalena's apparent age?
Very, very youthful. 20s,
Okay.
maybe?
Speaking of
So-
like Magdalena's
So-
youth and how she like has
Oh, I remember my rebellious
narrator.
Okay,
I have a
so
question.
yes.
Delana, yes, what's the question?
You know how I study paintings and history? And
Yes, you
historical
do.
paintings?
Certainly do,
And
yes.
you know, that's why she's a big
Oh.
fan of Magdalena.
Okay.
Now that she has these thoughts, has she ever seen a painting of a certain princess wearing this dress in a certain portrait?
You got history?
I think I got both history and art, so take your pick.
Great. Roll the highest of the two.
Cool.
Miss Fairchild is trying to quietly usher everyone to their seats because she's in denial.
I imagine that like you're being ushered slowly towards your seats as you're having this discussion, and wow, okay, yeah, you know, you look at her, and immediately all of your studies of art over the years, all of your studies of history, and especially the fact that your husband does have a painting from around that time in his own study. It's one of the hidden ones, of course, but it is of a princess from that time. And you look at that, you look in your mind, you look at Magdalena, and they match up 1 to 1, and you realize that Magdalena's costume may be perhaps more than just a very accurate historical costume.
Yeah, at
You
this
then
point she
remember
just
hundreds
picks.
of human cat faces that have been painted over hundreds of years, all in the same style.
I suddenly feel quite faint. Where are our seats?
I back away.
Oh,
You're
you're
muted.
muted.
You're muted.
It's fine, it's my mime act. So you're all taken in, and you all sit down on a section of seating that is set aside for all of you. You've got almost a little raised booth area where you can see all
as
of
it
the
should
acts.
be.
Are we sitting next to each other? Because Miss Fairchild would try and engineer it so that Havelock is sat between her and Miss Griffiths.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
So you have...
It's a question of
this is
trust.
your- will basically be like, there's 4 on the front and there's 4 on the back end. So the kids obviously get to sit at the front. So both of them sit. You've also got, of course, yourself, Miss Fairchild, probably, I imagine, Delilah on the other end, and then the rest will be behind you, I imagine.
I'll sit
so-
between Mr. Grillmore and Dr. Varuk. That's right there.
Yes, you sit right between the two. Varuk being on the end, Tilly, you're sort of sat at the other end of Magdalena, and then there's Grimoire at the end of the bench, basically. And they all sit, and about that time you hear music begin to play below. And you hear horns and trumpets, and you hear a honky-tonk noise start to kick in. As you see lights from lanterns being lit with different colored buffers in front of them that light up the stage, and you see this massive area in the middle as the act begins. And it's at that time that you see the proprietor step in, and he takes center stage on a podium and waves out his hands, and you see fireworks go off from near him and collide with near the top, just shy of the top of the tent to not set them light. And it's at that time that you see acrobats swing from ropes above him and do a flip and swap their podium positions and swing across to the other side as he raises his hands out and he exclaims, "Welcome one, welcome all to my circus, the Starfall Circus. We are here, are delighted to see all of you in London, the most beautiful city of this country, of course, and the only one, may I say, that is actually accessible." And at that point, you see more of these sort of adults laugh and giggle at that, and he goes, "But that is not of our concern today. You see, for today is not to focus on the plague, is not to focus on our plight within this world, nay, tonight is for entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. And so, with this, we will begin. You are to see some wonders here tonight, from acrobats to the strong man, to the bearded lady, to real life bears. They're big and not undead. he says, as he kind of looks around at the rest of them. But aside from that, please do enjoy your night, and I will see you at the end. And please, beware the ghost, he says. And as that happens, the lights cut out. And the acts begin. And for the next around half an hour, you see some wondrous acts. You see acrobats performing feats that are amazing, swinging from death-defying heights and landing perfectly. You see dance parts of the troupe put on these beautifully orchestrated dances. You see these bears that are more, they kind of walk around the area a bit and leave. They don't really
When
seem
they
to
come
have...
out, she leans over to Dr. Brooks. How many people do you think they are going to feed to the bears? I'm guessing 5. You're muted if you're talking.
If we are lucky, some of the vagabonds, maybe. Half dozen or so. If they're small. He actually does the meat calculation in his head about how much an animal of that size would probably eat.
And as you're doing that, Mr. Cremore, sensing Tilly's discomfort at this discussion, seems to... So how are you finding it, Tilly?
Most wonderful, thank you. And she kind of like looks over to Dr. Farouk. She's like, almost in curiosity, but in equal parts horror about like the dietary requirements of how many children you can feed a bear. The show's great. I wish I wasn't so distracted, but
Yes, your investigation, isn't it?
yes,
It is quite routine.
yes. I don't want to be rude. I just want to get on with it, you know.
Well, I would say, Tilly, that people of this kind, you're looking for them would be less of a thing that you'll have luck in. You should wait for something to happen. Bait it.
You're very well with waiting, that's all right.
Of course you don't. He says and nods. But
Impatient.
there's something here, right? And they know you. Everyone knows you in this town, the ace detective, Tilly Griffiths. If they were to hide themselves from anyone, it would be you. And you have been staring down any sign of blue cats in this place or not.
No, I know. None of them fit. So you're saying I should try and blend in a bit more?
I'm saying you should enjoy yourself and blend in and keep your eyes sharp, but not too sharp. You're being very obviously a detective, Miss Griffiths.
It's very hard to switch it off, you know. Just as you're being the devil. You know, you'll come dressed as yourself as well. It's not just me in costume.
He doesn't correct you, he just kind of laughs a bit.
And are they talking loud enough for us to hear?
Quietly, out from the laugh.
Okay. Alright.
They seem to be sharing some sort of jokes between each other.
They're probably
Miss
making their
Fairchild is
own
still
bear bets.
glaring at him every so often, just like...
You know, Miss Fairchild seems to stare at me quite often. Is there something on my face? Was it from the dunk? Perhaps?
Maybe
She
she's
like,
attracted
looks
to
him
you.
over. She looks him over to see if there's anything left on his face.
He seems fine. There's still some bits of war that he's kind of scrubbed off a little. But aside from that, there's nothing. Like,
You have a little bit of... Your eyebrow is kind of skew-if.
kind of straightens it out and nods. How's that?
Better. Well, you did
Good.
meet us under quite creepy circumstances. So what exactly did you intimidate poor Miss Fairchild into doing?
Quite
Might be
creepy
right.
circumstances. I didn't
Yeah.
force Miss Fairchild to do anything.
You and I both know that's probably a lie.
But wrong term for what I do. I merely present good business opportunities and connect people. That is my job.
Yes, but
Trust
I
me,
have
I
also
wouldn't
identified you as a man who does not take no much for an answer. So you've probably intimidated her in some way.
Please, Miss Griffiths. I would not intimidate Miss Fairchild.
Maybe not intentionally.
Have you seen Miss Fairchild? She's not very intimidatable. Trust me.
No, but you seem to know where everyone's weak spots are, don't you?
It is my job to make sure to give people things they want, is it not? No, I can't discuss how I got Miss Fairchild to work with us. That would be against her contract. She may tell you. Perhaps if she wants to.
I don't want to breach her privacy. I respect
do
it too
I.
much.
Speaking of, it might be good if you make sure that you cushion your bottom step.
So it was you. I'll
Sort
look
of just
into
looked
it.
And at that point, you see
I like my
the
toast
sort
that
of...
it's better done. She just turns away.
Well, I'll remember that you like that for next time. Believe it or not, culinary experience isn't something that I know as easily as what you want.
She just
But the eggs
turns
are okay.
She turns bright red. Eggs are fine.
Good. Not too much pepper then, he says as the acts continue, and eventually they do round out. But
I'm guessing they
Delilah,
don't feed any to the bears.
feed nobody to the bears. They do throw them meat. You see there's a bit where they're sort of walking around for a
This
bit,
is so.
and they sort
This
of
is so.
roll somebody in a cage, and then they sort of throw meat out of the cage at the bears, and they eat it, and that seems to be the thing that entertains them.
Magdalena
The
just
bears-
looks incredibly mad and disappointed at this.
They don't seem to have been taught any tricks. They just seem to be bears. But this seems to be enough to entertain this audience, as they had no idea bears existed for real until this moment. So in general, it seems that it's going well. But after they go as well, and Delilah the entire time, and even for you, Miss Fairchild, the two children that are there are in awe at what's going on. They're like gasping and cheering and clapping, and they seem to be having an absolutely wonderful time. And indeed, the show is very well done. It seems expertly made.
During
And
this
it's at the
show,
end. Yeah, go on.
while Magdalena's, like going ugh and like in distaste at the bears, Delilah actually sat herself closer to Dr. Verrucht.
Okay.
And as she
What's
like
that?
she makes sure to watch Magdalena's like expressions, ignore the cat, he wants attention. And
Oh God, he's loud, isn't he? Tilly
he
down.
wants treats. Sorry. So she kind of leans into the doctor as like Magdalena's like, oh, I can't believe they're not feeding, of humans, and she's like, Doctor, do you know anything about the human condition? You must know quite a lot about lifespan. Yes?
Yes, indeed.
They brought their really annoying lions on.
So some loud lion. Yeah, the doctor said, indeed, yes.
So, is there something that would make a human live eternally youthful?
It is a subject dear to my heart. Yes.
Sorry, I'm just getting emotional.
God, he's really trying, isn't he? So the lions are currently being sort of quietened down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they bring out jaguars and all sorts. They have a cavalcade of cats. It seems.
Catfalcade, if you will.
A cavalcade.
Better a catfalcade than a catastrophe.
I just hope they don't go missing. I really don't want to have to track down a jaguar. It's not fucking fun to me.
Tilly Griffiths, we know you're the best detective at finding cats.
This is a really big case because they're big cats.
Cats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah,
really
that-
sorry, guys. My cat's very vocal. Yeah, she kind of looks at him, like, so you know about the subject?
Yes. It's one of my areas of study.
Is it possible?
Current science would dictate no. But I have traveled and I have seen some things that would indeed suppose nothing is impossible. Almost nothing.
Yes, well, I feel as if we have an immortal among us. Shino glances, like, very, like, side-eyed at Magdalena. before like looking back at Dr. Varrock.
I have had my suspicions, yes. And he just is kind of stone-faced, like, do you have more information?
That's fair. And as you continue to do that and the talk continues on, we move through until the show ends with the final act as Phineas comes back and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, you've all been brilliant. Thank you very much for attending the Fallen Star Circus. Please come again for a longer and, of course, more elaborate show when we properly tour your beautiful city. But for now, we bid you a good night. But before then, we need a volunteer. We have one last act to partake in this evening." And they look around. And do any of you put your hands up?
Tilly will put her hand up, but she'll also like nudge the children to put their hands up.
Yeah, they're like,
And if Havelock puts his hand up, Miss Fairchild will put it down again.
Oh.
Magdalena's just like, there's not even any rotten vegetables or fruit to throw. This is bullshit.
So Tilly, as you put your hands up, he seems to kind of go around and points at you. "Ah! Please come down."
Yeah, she'll make her way down.
Yeah, so you make your way down, and you walk up towards Phineas, and you see sort of the audience around. There's a lot of people in here. It's absolutely packed. They're all cheering and stuff like that. And you walk up, and he smiles at you and takes his hat off and puts it to his chest and goes, "Thank you, everybody. Our guest here, our volunteer, will be the one who tonight may earn the prestigious Golden Pumpkin. So, we have a test for you, Miss
Griffiths.
Miss Griffiths, everyone." And everybody's cheering and shouting and cheering. Over there you will see there is a bar that is laid just a little suspended off the ground, and below it is hot coals. Our task for you, Miss Griffiths, is to walk across the pipe and make it to the other side. If you do, you'll be rewarded with the Golden Pumpkin. And as they say that, a lit-up internal golden pumpkin that sparkles is kind of slowly lowered in the skyline and just sort of comes to sit down just in front of Phineas, for those in the audience. So it looks like he has a pumpkin head. And he kind of looks around and goes, "But," and things around it, "we need to see if you can, of course, succeed, first of all. So please, Miss Griffiths, would you please step up to the platform?"
She looks distinctly a little bit more nervous now. Does coals feel hot?
Magdalena looks distinctly a little more interested now. She's like, "I'm an element of danger. This is great."
Do the coals feel warm when I walk by?
They are lit coals, yes.
Great.
It's fire pit, essentially.
Oh!
And we see there's like two sort of people stood at either end with big buckets of water ready. And they seem very prepared. And aside from that, you do also see rings of fire lit above either side of this. And you see acrobats kind of either side ready to swing through them as you walk.
Right, great. This will be a blast.
What you get when you volunteer.
Let us see if Miss Griffith's cat-like reflexes will be up to the task.
I'm so ready to reroll already. I'm guessing it's a coordination check.
Will you please begin? Give me an acrobatics check.
I do not have acrobatics. Can I just go
And a
for
coordination
coordination?
check.
Okay. Is the bar hot to touch if I touch it with my hand? If I just tap it?
It is a little warm, but you have got shoes on, so.
Okay.
It'll be
Does
alright.
it move? Does it seem to twist if I like try and twist the bar? Does it seem to twist, or is
solid
it?
bar.
Okay. All right. She'll take that into account, and she'll try and think about all the acrobats she's watched during the show and how they seem to hold themselves, and she'll try and go through that, and then, okay, and she'll go for it.
So could you please give me that coordination check then, please, Tilly? That won't be good enough. Do you want to re-roll?
Yes, it's probably going to be worse.
On your re-rolls and go for another go. Let's have a look.
Come on, please don't fuck me. It's a 10. It's a 10 either way.
It's bad
Wait,
way. You
I
have another one.
Oh, thank you,
do.
audience. Fuck it. It's going to be a 10 again. I can't. This happens every
No
time.
one can say you didn't try.
I tried my fucking best.
Woo!
Okay.
So you
Bring your
go on the
damn
bar, but then you slip off slightly and you catch your feet on the fire at the side. You get off the side of it again, and they kind of look at you and nod.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Very
it
good. Keep
seems
going. Keep
They have
going.
not unfortunately succeeded. Miss Griffiths, would you like to try again?
I mean, it's Magdalena cheering me on at this point. Like, well, my dress is already ruined, so I might as well give it
I
another
don't know
go.
if she's cheering you on as much as she's just cheering.
Yeah, just cheering. Oh my god.
Cheering you on.
Miss Fairchild is like on the edge of her seat, and she doesn't look concerned, but there's like a hint of concern, like tiny, like her
Thank you.
face doesn't change much, but there's something there.
The doctor,
Very
the doctor's bag is now in his lap. They're slung back around. So
Hello, baby. How are you doing? I'll turn to the audience. Well, cats have 9 lives, so I shall try again. And
Of course.
and she'll go again, and let me just go and get a nice crit one on this.
All right, you.
13 this time.
That will be
Better.
enough. This time, you manage to step slowly over the bar and make it to the other side. And the crowd goes wild. They cheer, they shout, and you're given what looks to be a large pumpkin as well. It's about the size of your head, and it's golden. And they hand it over to you. Here you are, Miss Griffiths, your prize, the golden pumpkin.
Yeah, and she'll like do a gracious curtsy and take the pumpkin and yeah.
Also, here's 3 vouchers to get yourself some confectionaries. He says on the side, kind of slyly to you, and then goes, the pumpkin, everybody! And then they all kind of shout and cheer.
Yeah.
And
And
we are done with our evening. Good night. And at that point, the lights cut off. When they come back on, you're stood there, Tilly, and all of the rest of the cast have disappeared.
okay, she'll walk back to the others and she'll offer out the confectionery tickets to the children.
Oh, thank you, they say, and they take them.
And who would like a golden pumpkin?
Is it an actual pumpkin? Is the question.
And it's about that time
Is it
that you
actual gold?
that Shoe Shining Sean reappears and goes, oh, the pumpkin, he says, and kind of looks
Is it real gold? I don't know. It's just spray painted, isn't it?
spray painted, yeah.
Well,
been painted
Shoe Shining
gold.
Sean, this is a shining pumpkin befitting of your work. There
That's
you
what I thought. I could put it next to my store.
are. You can. Enjoy.
Great, he says, and kind of looks at it. So how was the show?
Very good. Very good. I
Is
might
Cooper
have
with
damaged
him?
my shoes, so I might
Yeah,
require
Cooper.
your services later.
Oh, I could shut him up real good for you. Don't worry about that, miss, he says, and kind of nods. And Cooper isn't with
Where
him.
is Cooper?
Diane, I lost him somewhere in Spooky House.
Ah, okay. He's probably fine.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was a bit of a maze in there, a bit weird. But yeah, he's kind of took a different turn than me. He like screamed and ran off, and then I couldn't find him, so I just left. He'll be somewhere.
Miss
Maybe we
Fairchild
should
will just
go
like
to-
look
Oh,
to Havelock and be like,
That's what I had, he says, and he kind of goes, yeah, actually, bring me some of Miss Griffiths. Here, I found this on the floor, he says, and gives you a very crude teddy of a blue cat.
Oh my
excellent.
friggin'.
Yes.
Cat, and I thought it was good.
I love it. Thank you very much. Where did you get it?
Like in the scary house.
Right. Well, there
Now-
might be more there. They seem to multiply these things.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a bit greedy, isn't it, Miss Griffiths? I mean, no offence, it's just you've already got one.
I don't know. I'm not looking for myself, of course. I'm looking for my dear friends. You know.
All right, fair. Well, yeah, I mean, we just went in, we went through a bit. There was a bit with like a gravestone, and there was like somebody who came out and was like, whoa, and then I ran one way, and then Cooper ran the other way, and then when I went to see him, he wasn't there, so I assumed it was fine and just left. He's all right. I'm
Right.
sure he's gone back to the hanging place. He seems to like that.
Well, we'll go and check, shall we? We need to know where everyone is.
Magdalena
Yeah,
looks a little
yeah.
proud. She's like, oh, likes the hanging place. Good boy.
Can we tell that Tilly's like slightly more than normally agitated at being given a small rough blue cat?
So, seeing a small blue rough cat in relation to people going missing, Miss Fairchild and Miss Delilah, could you both give me a very quick intelligence check, please?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
What is it about?
Oh,
16?
no. Please, baby, I've already given you enough treats. I'm sorry.
Count of 5, you're too taken in by the show, but on a 16, you do, as you see this crude thing, you do remember a certain funeral being put on without a body. There was no body to attend for one of the young lords about 2 years ago. And you do remember seeing a small thing like this before. The mourning mother of the child seemed to have it and be holding it quite a lot. And you remember that vaguely she was talking to people saying, no, they're still alive, they're still alive, I found this, they're still alive, it's the blue cat's doing, I tell you. And nobody seemed to believe it.
Miss Fairchild is going to pull Havelock firmly back, like into her side, and look at Miss Griffiths, and then just look at the blue cat and say, "That looks familiar. I believe we should locate Cooper rather quickly."
I'm sure he's fine. I told him if he was getting kidnapped to yell, "Help, Magdalena, I am being kidnapped." And I did not hear that, so I'm sure he's fine.
And just so deadpan, and of course you'd be able to hear him from very far away, wouldn't you?
I look at the
Well,
doctor.
yes, he would be
give him, like,
yelling. He would be yelling, so you would hear across the whole thing. He has very good lungs. Very strong.
She's narrowing her eyes so much at Magdalena, just like.
Regardless, maybe we should keep
Probably
her-
from talking over those chickens all the time. He used to yell very loud. It has not been as quiet in the house.
Perhaps
We should keep our
find
ears
him
out for
anyway.
Yes, I do have apple for him. And I did want to go into Scary House. This is gonna go so poorly.
Before you head out, I would just like to take a moment just to look at the cat and inspect it to see if there's any markers on it, and give it a as I'm like cuddling it, I'd like to give a very subtle sniff to see if there's any discerning scent about it. That is very strange.
Could you give me a very quick forensic science check, please?
I can, and I have a free reroll on that if I do badly. So 15.
Okay, and a 15. So you have a look over it, and you have a sniff, and you do notice something as you sort of go through it and you look at it. You see that woven into it, there seems to be a collar. And the collar around the cat, as you sort of peel it back slightly, seems to be a collection of hair. And the colour seems to match that of the young lord who is missing.
Right. Okay. Right.
However, you do see there is one small flaw with this, with your 15. You see on the underside of the cat, there is a slight splodge of something white, quite thick, like paint. But it's dried by this point.
Doctor,
Yes.
could you identify this? Do you have any idea what this little smudge could be?
I'll look at it. Maybe with alchemy or.
Yeah, you can give me an alchemy on that.
All right. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. Back to the roller. So many clicks. $17.
On a 17, you know what it is. You kind of look at it. You take a scratch on it as well. You give it a sniff. It is paint.
This is it's common white paint.
Say face paint, to be exact.
Oh, it's a face paint.
Face paint.
It's a little more oil-based than not enough lead.
Right.
Be-
You have to have a good amount of lead in paint to make it good.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And Miss Fairchild.
Yes.
I don't want to be forward, but would you mind guiding me forward? And she seems to be looking rather through you than to you.
Of course. And Miss Fairchild will like offer an arm in a
Thank
weirdly gentlemanly like way with her other hand still like clutching Havelock's shoulder.
Yeah.
To the Fear House then, I suppose.
Yeah.
And we'll just check with Havelock. Like
Okay.
And you notice
And,
that Chloe's a little bit more off kilter than usual. Like she doesn't seem to know where her feet are landing entirely.
And as you're sort of saying that, Mr. Grimoire does kind of look over and kind of catches you slightly and does go, Miss Fairchild, it sounds like you may be going somewhere rather dangerous. Would you like for me to babysit for a while?
I can honestly say that there is nothing I would hate more. No, thank you, sir.
Very well.
Havelock
you're
is
right.
safe with me.
He
is
on the other
always
hand-
safe with me.
Seems to not say anything at that and just nods almost grimly.
I look over at Mr. Grimoire and was like, would that offer be open to myself as well?
Teddy, of course. He nods. Yes, if Lord Berkeley wishes to stay around, I will happily look after them. The same goes with Sean there, unless you need him.
Sean, stay with this gentleman, please, while we...
Yeah, all right. Yeah, sure, he says and kind of nods. And he goes over and... Mr. Grimoire. And he goes, sure.
Miss
How
Fairchild?
good. And they begin to talk about the business. So,
Miss
Yes,
Fairchild,
Doctor.
would you like to watch the back of the scary house in case Cooper or... Yeah, if Cooper, and he's obviously saying more than that, would like possibly would exit there. That way, Havelock would not have to, endure the psychological stresses that may be abound.
I believe that's entirely up to him. And she'll look down at Havelock and be like, do you want to go into the Fair House? Fear House. even.
it seems scary, but I mean, if you're going, I can go, I guess.
We can go in, or we can stay round the back and keep watch, as the doctor suggested.
The back. The back.
All right. We'll watch the exits, I believe.
Okay.
All right. So be it. Let us be afraid.
I am very excited. This whole festival has been very tame. There's been no blood sports, no executions, no witch burnings. I am hopeful for Scary House. Hopefully there's
Miss Fairchild
something
just sends
exciting
an
there.
incredibly grateful look at the doctor. Like, her face doesn't change, but her eyes are going, yes, thank you.
Okay, so and with that in mind, you all begin to head over towards the spooky house, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so all of you plus Havelock make your way towards the spooky house. And you make your way there. And at the front, you do see there is an attendant there who is dressed seemingly like a skeleton, from what you can tell. They're kind of stood and they're kind of waving their hands about spookily. And they're like, oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're here for the spooky house.
Yes.
Do they have white paint on them?
They're a skeleton, so yes, they have white and black paint.
I look to the doctor. Well, they might have a mask on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they do.
Does it
They are
look like
painted.
the same white? Do they look like the same white paint as the one on the floor?
Similar.
Does it?
Similar.
Okay.
Like, does the color match or?
It is alabaster
Oh,
white,
white.
the same as that colour is, yes.
Okay. Lots of people would wear that. She'll just
You
make a
do see
note of what they look
many
like.
of them walking around with white paint on as skeletons in the distance as well. So.
Well, they would have had time to reapply them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Possible.
She'll just memorize their face.
So do you want to go in? Kind of staring.
Yes.
Sorry, comprehensive.
Sorry. Welcome to the spooky house. You see, in this house, there were several murders over the years, and there was a mad scientist, and they used to do bad things.
What kind of bad
Um,
things?
Like experiments. And they used to experiment, and they used
Like
to
what?
make people into skeletons that lived.
That is not experiments. That is murder. You say murder twice now.
But they lived.
Oh, that is exciting. Necromancy. That is different story. Ah, yes.
Miss Fairchild is just looking at Magdalena and I'm like, no, dead people walking, not a good thing. I'm right here.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
The doctor is chuckling about the necromancy comment rather than calling them animates or whatever.
Yeah.
You may find the lair of a scientist where he used to make his living skeleton things.
Mm.
But beware.
Next colleague of yours, Doctor. She gives him a little like grin.
Yeah, but he smiles at. Most likely. A student, maybe.
But don't get paid unless you get scared.
Oh,
Ah!
Oh no. This is too scary for me. And
Yeah.
Miss Fairchild will
Fire me?
just take Havelock away. It's like,
Yeah,
just
no
walk
worries.
away. Like,
That's like the
Wait, you
seventh
can
one.
get money for scaring people?
Yeah. No, it's in a... Enter, he says again of the door opens as you hear as it opens.
We'll talk
and
about this later.
the door is open. There is like darkness beyond and one flickering lantern that seems to kind of just rock back and forth with a slight shutter that flicks.
Does it just look kind of like home?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, oh. I'll shrug and walk in.
So you all enter and you begin to make your way around the house. And
Miss
you begin-
Fairchild has gone round the back, so
Gone round the
not
back.
there.
So you go to the exit. There is another door at the back, and you do see somebody's kind of leaned against the wall. It's just a lady that seems to not be in any costume, and she's just kind of smoking a cigarette as you go by, and just kind of gives you a nod.
Miss Fairchild just ignores her and just finds somewhere to stand and makes a point of like checking Havelock's costume and, you know, neatening it up and just keeping watch.
And you do so, and the rest of you begin your walk around the spooky house. So I'm going to make you all make me a will check, please.
Okay.
Concentration?
There's no time to concentrate in a spooky house.
Okay.
So annoying, that's my high stat, damn it.
I just feel bad if I failed this will check and I get spooked. I feel really bad for the first actor we run into because they're getting eaten. I did okay. 16.
Speaking of actors, I'm going to just thank the guy. He was like, "Thank you for the mood setting. You did great." Before heading in.
Try. I wrote it myself.
It could use work.
It's the first draft. Okay, but what about the rest of you? So we've got a... what's everybody got?
16.
17 from you, did you say, Brooke?
Yep.
Okay.
Straight 20.
What about you, Delilah?
I was trying to figure out which one, what way.
Okay.
Sorry.
Will.
Yeah, it's definitely. Sorry, I'm looking through my sheet. I'm like, where is it? Sorry. Oh, not bad.
Okay, so all of you managed to go through the first stage of the haunted house with ease. As you walk around, and there's there's a bit where an actor comes out and he's got a big pumpkin head, and he goes and you kind of nonny jump. And you continue through, and there's some creaky stairs that then seem to creak even louder. And as you step on the last one, there's a booming laugh that comes through as you make your way up towards the second floor. And at which point, could you all make me another willpower check, please?
I'm also keeping my nose out for Cooper. Just
do
in
so.
case.
There's a lot of smells in here. They seem to have
Is
let
there a
out
lot of
sort
smell of fear?
stinky smell. Yeah, a lot of fear.
My favorites. Okay.
Okay.
16 again.
Okay. And Delilah, what about you?
This time I'm trying my best to actually click things. Apparently I'm really
It's a
bad at
good
this.
thing to do.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum,
Ah.
bum. 16. Okay, so all of you but Varuked managed not to get scared in the next bit. But for you, Varuked, this bit scares you most of all. That you walk into an area upstairs and you hear creaking and moaning on either side of you as you walk through the doors, and actors begin to slam on the doors next to you. And each time you jump, Varuked, slightly, and as your heart is racing and your adrenaline begins to pump, you walk around and you look into a room, and inside you see a terrifying lab, mainly because it's incorrectly set up, and you see different tables with different sort of smoke coming off of it, and you see fake bodies that have been strewn about the place as if they've been like horribly cut up, but the organs are wrong, and this terrifies you. This shouldn't be.
This is a nightmare. Who set
I know.
this
Can you
up?
look how they displayed those entrails? I mean, subpar work. They're not
Who's
even
the
real
liver?
entrails.
Whose liver is up in there? That is wrong. Us.
As you say that, the door closes behind you all loudly, and from the wall that slides open slightly, you see somebody walk out. A scientist, it seems. He's wearing a big lab coat with loads of blood splattered on it, and he's got bright white hair that's been stuck up and is wild, and is wearing a big set of goggles, and is wielding a saw in one hand as he looks at you all and goes, "Ah, I see you have all found me. Welcome to my lab. Are you here to become skeleton?" he says in a very bad accent.
I look over at the doctor, then I look back at that doctor, like I'm just like, your brother?
My name is Professor Derucht.
Delona just bursts out laughing.
It's very funny.
I would say maybe an idiot cousin.
Regardless, you are all here, so you will now become skeletons. Come here, he says, and kind of
And
raises.
he's holding a weapon, right?
a bone saw. Yeah, he's across the room from you,
I'm
and as he
gonna-
sort of
And I'm
his
gonna
bone
draw
saw,
my sword.
you draw your sword, and the kid goes, whoa, 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 it's fine, it's an act, it's an act.
Oh, it's not. Oh, axe, not axe. Okay. I'm
No one's been
sorry.
weapons in
I
this
put-
place.
I put it
Jesus
back.
Christ. Oh,
Happy Halloween.
oh. He says as he sits down on the table and just keeps
And,
going.
and she goes, ha, scare you.
The door opens.
Magdalena.
That leads into
It's
what looks
really
like
funny,
a
no?
We're
That's
supposed to be
what
the
I've
ones who get scared. We're not supposed to scare them.
Oh. I thought it could go
That was
both
the
ways.
ghost cup that Miss Fairchild had. Who got like chroma keyed out, so it was like terrifying. Okay, anyway, so speaking, aside from Miss Fairchild's spooky cup, the rest of you continue your journey through that, I'm guessing, into the area that seems to be some sort of indoor graveyard. And as you walk through, could you all give me one final willpower check, please?
Mm-hmm.
This time you're looking to beat a 14.
Oh, I'll re-roll that then.
Oh, Baruch, bless you.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Alright.
so
I do have the resolve, so if it's creepy, spooky, natural stuff, I believe I get to
Yeah.
roll again.
you do, I believe, yeah. So we'll give it a go.
Alright. Not that I mind. I think it's more active and funny if it's
Oh.
you know.
This time
Whoa.
you managed to control yourself, but the rest of you, whoever didn't beat a 14, so 15 and above, which is everybody else, you all, as you're walking through these graveyards, you see skeletal hands come out of the ground and start grasping towards your ankles.
He was a
see
necromancer. He lied.
You see bats fall down from the ceiling in front of all of you, and they sort of flap about your face, and the wings are like delicately kind of scraping against you, and that's what gets you more than anything else, Magdalena, is these bats sort of flutter around your face.
I think maybe
And,
that it's that they're fake bats and not real bats. And she's like, no,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you?
And it's as you're running through and sort of getting away from all the scares, and the actors are jumping out and booing, and the skeletons are grabbing at you, that you make it to the end, and there's 2 hallways, one left and one right, at the end of the graveyard. And in the middle of it, there's a sign that says, "Choose your fate."
Right,
Half
right.
go one way, half go the other way? Yes, no?
No. We must stick together. Right.
Okay,
Which way
well,
did you say?
Cooper and Sean got split up. So one went one way, one went the other way.
And we did not ask Sean which way.
No.
Is
I'll
it
give a
just in
sniff at
here?
each hall.
What did you say, sorry, Miss Griffiths?
I just said, is it dusty in here? Do we see footprints either
There's
way
like
or not?
smoke rolling over the area, and it's very hard to see. There's a lot of footprints here as well that seem to have, like, they've kind of obscured each other. But as you're sniffing, Magdalene, could you give me a witch check?
Yes, can I concentrate on this?
No, not for this. It's a witch
Oh,
check.
that's
not-
will check. Sorry, derp. The derp. That's just me being a big silly. Okay. 11.
Okay. You do get a whiff of chicken boy, but you're unsure which direction.
Coochie Cooper definitely came down this way. One of these ways.
Well, I presume if we go one way and it leads out, we should go the other way. So.
So that is,
Just not go out all the way, just come back. Double back.
Actually get Miss Fairchild if we go the wrong way.
all right. Very deductive. Let's try it.
So who goes
Left
left?
foot? I'll go left.
And
Hands up for
we're all,
left.
no, we all follow
Every-
though, right? Yeah.
Okay, so if you're all going left, you begin to make your way down, and you're led through some winding hallways, and the hallways seem to twist almost and warp, where the ceiling suddenly becomes the wall next to you, and then you have the ceiling just underneath your feet as you're walking. The floor is above you, and you can see lamps sort of hanging off a chandelier that is suspended upside down, and the like, as you're walking in an upside down part of the house. And as you're walking through this area, could you give me a quick forensic science check, please, Tiffany? And anybody else who has it.
I'll just keep a lookout for blood.
Okay.
15.
You can give me a wit check then, please, Magdalena.
Yeah. $13.
Okay. And with your 13 and 15, you sniff and you do catch a whiff of blood, but it's confusing. You don't quite know where from. You catch it, but then it's muddled up with all of this smoke and this dust and these weird incenses they've put through this place. And Tilly, as you look around, you do see eventually, as you're sort of walking through these halls, that there is a section of the paneling on the wall that has a very slight smudge of white on it.
And out of my bag, I just open my bag and I just take out a crowbar.
Mhm.
Right then, excellent. Does someone want to go and retrieve Miss Fairchild, or should we just go in?
Can offer to have someone by back door.
Fair enough.
Doctor gets out his flashlight.
Okay, you wind the flashlight up.
Yep.
Okay, I'll try the panel first, and if it doesn't move, I'll just pop it with the
You try it,
crowbar.
and as you try and peel it, it does kind of come open. Just slide open. There's slight scratch marks on the floor where it's been sort of back and forth.
And
And
I'll
inside,
keep myself like to the do you know how like cops do it where they like bust open a door and then like leap to the side so they don't get hit by anything coming out?
nothing comes out. And
Okay, good.
inside, there is no sound that you can hear. And it is very dark in there as you light the light inside. It seems to be a cavity in the walls, but the walls seem to be rather thick. These ones in particular seem to have sort of a thicker amount of stone in between it and the rest of it, which the rest of it seems to be a temporary build. This bit seems to be more of a one-piece solid object in the middle of the house is built.
Right. Okay. Doctor, do you mind leading the way as you have the light?
Oh, not at all. And then, he's got his gun and his light and starts to walk along.
Okay. So you begin to walk along, and the rest follow, I imagine?
I'll be right behind him.
Because
Because I can see real good in the dark.
Mm-hmm. And do you shut the door behind you, or do you leave it open? Leave it open, okay. So you begin to make your way. You're very muted, by the way, Tilly.
I just said, is there anything heavy in the room to sort of wedge it open or like keep it open?
The door itself is quite heavy.
Okay.
It'll stay open unless you shut it, basically.
All right.
Okay. But you go down then, at which point you begin to make your way around the sort of cavities inside of the wall, which at first seems fine. It's quiet, it's dark, but aside from that, not much is here, Varuked. And it's as you begin to make it around to an area where it seems to have some stairs that lead down, that you do see there is a very slight glimmer of light at the end, where there seems to be a little lantern hung next to a closed door. And it's at the bottom of these stone stairs that lead down.
All right. The doctor, points the flashlight down and checks the stairs to make sure that they're solid or whatever, stone or.
Give me a quick check, please.
Sure.
Do these stairs smell as awful as the rest of the haunted house?
They don't. They smell more appealing to you.
Okay. Oh, good. Oof.
Oh,
Okay.
there it is.
Look over the stairs, and most of them seem fine, but the third one to the bottom seems to be false.
So watch
And you
this.
notice a slight glimmer underneath, sort of in a part where this false stair is.
The third from the bottom is some form of trap, I would imagine. So step over it. And
Right.
the doctor will do just that, step over, and then he'll keep the flashlight on pointed on the stair so everybody else can notice it.
So you can file over one by one, but you would be able to make it to the bottom, all of you. And the door is in front of you, and behind it you can hear what sounds to be a music box playing.
Do I recognize the tune? Does anyone recognize the tune?
You can give me a quick intelligence check, please. Okay. So most of you will recognize this. It seems to be a lullaby. Hush, little baby. Don't say a word. Mama's going to buy you a knock.
So check the doorknob or latch and see if it's
Do you
unlocked.
turn the doorknob? It's locked.
Well, does anyone
There is
know
a
how
keyhole.
to? Does anyone know how to pick one of these things? Being very quiet.
I might.
Did we get a key?
I kind of look a bit guilty.
Did we get a key? No, wait, that was missed one. Never
Different
mind, ignore
game.
me.
Different game.
Okay, I was like,
I
I'm
do,
gonna
I
get
do
a
like to
key.
see Miss Fairchild freaking out in the corner that they can actually do this when they're outside. It's,
And I guess maybe
Things that I'm good at and I'm not there.
I will
I'm
get to
busy,
Miss
like,
Fairchild eventually.
I have studied lock mechanisms. I might be able to.
I either own the key, I own the door, or I kick the door down. I have what's
So-
now the
And I've
kicking.
jimmied a lock or two once upon a time.
shall
The
we get
Magdalena key, a boot.
Fairchild? Shall we retrieve Mrs. Fairchild?
We can.
Perhaps that is the best. Last time I did, I broke my hat pin. It was rather awful.
We
Oh,
could
no.
retrieve Miss Fairchild, although I'm very reticent to bring a actual child down here.
Why?
That is.
This is charming. Quaint, even.
She'll. We believe Cooper has been taken. What if her
What?
nephew
No,
gets
he's
taken?
fine. He
I think he's
probably
a
just got lost or something.
What do I actually have? I don't know. I do have.
I would have heard him scream.
And it's as you say that. Magdalena, can you give me a very quick wit check?
Sure.
Supernatural perception.
Oh, not 3. No, it's too many dice. Get back here. Okay. Okay. Just 2.
Even on Nate, you do believe, as you say that, you do hear a sort of scream, but very muffled. It might not even have been real. But from behind the door somewhere, distant beyond it.
Well, on second hand, maybe he did scream. Maybe.
I begin picking the lock.
Okay, could you please give me a lock-picking check, please?
Streetwise?
If you have no lock-picking, it will be a blank check.
Oh, I thought it was streetwise. That.
Definitely
It's a
not
separate-
streetwise.
Oh,
No.
and I've got escapology, not lockpicking. But it's handcuffs and stuff.
I might ask for Delilah to step in then if she has lock picking in particular. I thought.
Oh no, I have streetwise. I've watched Mickey do a lot of different things. She's attempted. She's not good at it.
All right, straight check then.
Yeah,
Straight check.
unfortunately, none of you are skilled in this, so and you haven't got
Yeah,
tools.
Just
Just let
like-
me know if you want me to kick door.
No,
I mean, I'll
can't
give
do
her a
this.
couple of my bobby pins. I have
I
plenty.
think you
Like,
could
trust
kick the
me.
door, Mr. Bill.
Okay, I will kick door. And
Okay,
what
give me
Magdalena
a
will
very
do
quick vitality check,
is-
please, to kick the door in.
A vitality check. Certainly. Hold on, let me see if I have a thing for this. I think I have a strong person thing, maybe. Let me double check. Hatred of vampires, blood drinker, alien grace.
It's like times that you would need Lilith, you know? Like,
Times that I would want to pick a lock. Okay, yeah. So vitality can do. Whoop. 15.
so you boot the door, and you poof, and it makes a very loud noise. And,
And I would have put my sword in near where the locking mechanism was too, to kind of give it a little
Okay,
extra.
try and do me a bit. And you do give it a good oomph. And your sword seems to get jammed.
So maybe try
Ow.
that again with the
Woot.
crowbar.
I will.
Got it. And
As
I'll
someone who
help.
was trapped in their own room last week, this fuels me.
What?
Don't take
Long
this out
story.
on
If
us.
it was me, I would just take the doorknob off and do the
How?
locking mechanism from there, but it says Magdalena, so.
Yeah, that's fair. I tried doing that. It didn't work because that was broke. But anyway,
How?
It was
sheer
amazing.
unluck. So.
Yeah, I'll try with the crowbar and I'll basically help Mr. Ville crank it and basically bust the
Yeah.
door open.
No problem. So could you give me a vitality check again, please, Magdalena? But you can add Tilly's vitality to your roll.
What's your
She's only-
vitality?
It's a healthy 2.
Ooh.
Oh, that is good to know for reasons.
Sure, if you want to take a bite, be my guest.
I will reroll.
Okay, no problem. Let's give it a reroll.
I rolled very poorly. That is 17.
That is way better. This time you do manage, as luckily the sword already jammed in there seems to have gotten jammed into the locking mechanism, and as the two of you push and push, your sword bends, and you hear a horrible noise as the amount of pressure you've put on your beautiful sword does unfortunately snap it.
No.
Yeah. But the door opens.
She immediately just forgets everything else that happens. She's like, my sword.
And as the door opens and you sort of see ahead of you, you can see the room itself seems to be rather plain. It has a stone floor, stone walls, and you can see there is another door at the end of this room that seems to lead deeper in. But this door seems to be almost thicker than the one before, and you see that it doesn't seem to have any locks on it. It's just a big slab of what looks to be stone. And around the walls, you also see different sort of leaflets and posters and pictures, all sort of littered on the wall. And in the other side of the door that you were just at, you see a key in the lock.
Do any of do they look like newspaper clippings of the children that's gone missing?
Can you give me a
things like
very quick look over them and give me a wit check,
Yeah, perception.
please?
Yeah, great, that's fine. 19.
Okay. On 19. You have a look over them, and whilst they don't seem to indeed match the clippings that you look at, with your 19, you easily deduce this, that each one of them seems to contain a letter. You can discern there are quite a few of them in there. And could you give me a very quick cryptology, if you've got that, or cryptography?
I do have that, in fact. Let me just check my skill on that. That's a 3. Okay. 3. I think I'm tempted. If that's not enough, I will use my forensic science cryptanalyst to re-roll.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here's where it gets worse. Yeah, classic. My re-rolls never work.
So you're trying to deduce what the letters mean, but it's becoming difficult. What you do get is it speaks of some sort of canine.
Canine. Does anyone have is anyone skilled in puzzles? This one's
Just Magdalena's holding the 2 pieces of her sword and just a tear down her face, and she's just Romanian is just coming out.
So the tear
I
hits
have
the
many.
shattered blade.
Yeah,
Makes
I
them both
look
sing.
at her, look at them.
And as you ask that,
Doctor?
outside, Miss Fairchild, it's going all right. It's
Yeah.
quiet.
Miss Fairchild would probably
stood there and
have
he's like,
like.
I'm getting a bit bored. Come on.
Well, we said we keep watch, so we keep 'em watch. I know it's boring, but you didn't want to go in the house.
I mean,
We're
you
gonna stay
could.
here.
Okay.
Now you want to go in the Sphere house?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it'd be this boring. I thought they'd be out by now. There's been like 8 other people out.
You sure you want to go in?
It'd be more fun. I mean, the apples were good.
The apples were good.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, we'll go in, and if you get scared, I can carry you through the rest of the way. Okay?
Okay. He
Okay.
says, and you go around and head in. And as you do, you make your way inside. The guy at the front gives you the whole speech, and he's a lot more convincing this time. And Havelock is like, as he's taken him by the story, and then he goes inside with you. And can you give me a very quick willpower check, please?
Okay. Not concentration?
Not this time, unfortunately.
No, it's okay.
Can't
It's more of a
concentrate
jump
on
scare.
spooky
You can't
house.
concentrate on
Oh,
jump scare.
Jesus. I'm going to re-roll that, because no.
Okay, no problem.
No, actually, hold on. I've got a child with me. I'm going to save my re-roll. I'm
Okay, no
paranoid.
problem, sir. That's fine.
Yep.
This wasn't bait. So you begin to make your way through, and you get immediately scared as people start jumping out and shouting at you. And those loud noises make you jump and, be on guard a bit more than anything else. You're not,
Definitely a few moments where the hands go to the hidden blades and then
Towards the
stop,
blades,
like, no,
yeah.
wait, can't kill them. They're actors.
Yeah, and you begin to make your way through. And as you're going through that first section, and I will give Havelock a quick check as well. Let's see how scared Havelock's doing.
He's only 5,
yeah.
poor baby.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh, he's fine.
You're scared, and Havelock's like, it's fine, Mum, it's just actors. They are loud, though, he says as you keep on walking.
Rather
And you
loud.
go-
You're quite aware in my line of work, it's not really that great to be jumped at.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's... See, I just hear a lot of shouting, so I just assume it's normal. He says, and you continue your way through, and you make your way up the stairs and towards the spooky lab and hallway. Could you give me another check, please?
Okay. That's better.
Good that you did well, because Havelock fails entirely as he is terrified as these sort of doors stop slamming next to him. He seems to get really freaked out and screaming and shouting and is scared, and is running through with you. And you make it to the lab, and then there's all this spookiness going on inside, and the doctor comes out from behind a door. He's got bright orange hair and a bone saw in his hand. And he kind of swings it around, and he's making scary noises, and he says, welcome, I am Dr. Bloodface.
How scared is
Havelock's
Havelock
fucking terrified.
presented with this doctor? Because seeing Havelock terrified, immediately the Asculpus just come out and are pointing at the doctor like, nah, my kid's scared, you're getting both swords.
He like puts his hands up and he's like, no, wait, I'm an actor, sorry, look, okay, it's fine, I'm sorry, this keeps happening, why aren't they stopping people bringing in weapons?
You see, Havelock, nothing to be scared of.
It
Simply,
doesn't seem so scary now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
Mr. Bloodface, sir, it's alright.
just puts the weapons away. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Reflex.
It's okay. Good costume, he says. And on cue, the door opens automatically from the other side. It goes and opens up as you see a graveyard in front of you. And you begin your final part. And as you're beginning your final part, we will move around to the others who is currently get into the room. So you're in the room. Delilah, you've been asked about puzzles. Magdalena is still crying.
It'll never be the same. It'll never be the same, but it can be reforged.
It survived the Battle of Targovishta against the Ottoman Empire. It's been through so much.
It's okay. And he'll like pat her shoulder and give her a hug and be like trying to be a doctor and a psychologist, sort of, getting her past this trauma so we can get on to
She's very upset.
So,
Meanwhile, Tilly, did you say the canine thing out loud?
Yeah, I was like, there's something about a canine. There's letters hidden in this, but I'm a bit overwhelmed with everything from earlier, and I need more time. Does anything know about canines? And I begin going over to the key and inspecting the door ahead to see if it opens, the thick one.
okay, no problem. So the key is in the door that you came through. The key was on the other side of the door. But
Oh, I'll take that anyway.
has no key that you can see. There's no hole. It's just a big slab. But Doctor, as you hear canine, do you look over the clippings and the pictures?
Yeah.
Cool. So have a look over them as well. And a lot of them seem to be related to the reclamation. Some of them related to people who are missing. Others are completely unrelated. But given your history, could you give me a very quick history check, please?
All right. Not intellect for code, but history. Got it. All right. Too many clicks. And oof.
Do you want to re-roll that?
Time for a re-roll. What do you guys think? Sounds like there's a big clue.
I think you should.
All right, let's do it.
And Magdalena will have calmed down with the doctor, saying it can be reforged, and she'll compose herself and then look at, I guess, what everyone else is looking at.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
pretty
can't.
much. Having a look at everywhere else except Magdalena right now.
Someone said something about the dog.
Okay. You can re-roll again if you wish to. I believe you're on corruption too, aren't you, Brucht?
Yeah, I am, but oh my goodness, if it goes bad later. Yeah, okay, we need the clue, obviously.
You mind just getting over fire for like a golden pumpkin, so you might as
Can
well
I
do this.
attempt to assist the doctor?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's a magic check, so
Oh, okay, medicine.
you can't be like, Doctor, remember this specific memory? That doesn't exactly work.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
So it
No,
is.
no.
It's a.
History
It's
check.
a
please.
history. Okay. Yep. I am not good at history. I look forward and look back. There we go. A
On a
little better.
16, Doctor. That's very good. So, you look through them, and one of the articles in particular speaks of a battle that you were actually at. It was around 10 years ago. It was during the Reclamation, and one of the earlier effects when they did have canine units. And some of these canine units were sent out to fight against the animates. They were sent as a forward force of sorts and were sent out to deal with it. The issue is some of them were infected, and this became known as the Battle of the Dogs, as it ended up that these dogs they had sent were turned against them undead and more vicious than humans, biting. And you remember that a lot of the army were infected, killed, throats bitten out, turning quickly in the sort of desecrated ground that they were dying in. It was an absolute slaughter. You remember treating those wounds for roughly a week. You were on duty for that, and you had to maintain treating them time and time again. And you remember shooting people who were turning in the head because you had to when they were beginning to turn. When you saw that infection, you dealt with it quick. There was no cure. There still is no cure. Okay. But that rings out with one of the articles. And as you look at that article, it seems to denote one thing to you. The picture that was taken seems to denote the people that were left behind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And obviously I can show everyone the picture, right?
You can, yeah. You can
okay.
peel it off the wall and show them.
I passed this it around, and the doctor says, "I was at this battle. There were infected dogs, and they vicious, horrible things that then passed on. What is the zombieism or animation
plague.
Disease called? Plague.
Plague.
They passed the plague very quickly. So.
Oh no.
Knowing that correlation now, can I, with my history check, try and see if there's any other? Because I do have history. Okay, let's see if this goes better. Where are you? Sheet. History. Right, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, please. Yeah, 13.
Okay, you have a thing. You recall the battle. You remember that it was indeed bloody. It was one of the worst events in the Reclamation. You remember that the people in those times who fought would use whatever they could, and most of the time it would fail. They couldn't reclaim London. They were fighting against these undead hordes that would just keep coming no matter the wound. And they eventually did succeed, but those days were dark, and a lot of losses happened in those days. And this battle in particular is one of the ones that's reported as being more bloody. But you remember one detail that the Doctor perhaps omits in his own version of things, that these dogs and the rest were let loose in a small village just outside of London. And it wasn't just the animates that were hit by these things.
Do I remember the name
There
of
were quite a few innocents that were sheltered there.
Innocents. There's a village where the dogs were let loose. There were innocents there, not as many animates. I believe that might be connected. How do we get this door open? Is there any mechanism?
Kidnapping? You think a dog is kidnapping children and leaving them?
Maybe someone who holds a grudge.
Yes. Doctor, will you help me inspect this door?
Of course.
Has it got a galvanic device attached to it? I can't see an opening mechanism anywhere.
Are there any sort of like given like nobles' houses with hidden doors and like things you can kind of like click and touch and do to like open them? Is there anything like that on the walls or?
So as you're looking around for those in particular, could you give me a wit check, please?
Okay, wit check.
Don't worry, Miss Fairchild, I'll get back to you.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
You don't? Okay, re-roll, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I kind of want to get in, see. Ah, well, 12 is better than 6, but eh.
You see nothing of the sort, just the door behind you and this massive stone wall. However, I'll give you an offer. I can give you another clue if one of you sinks your devil's unlock into this.
Ooh.
In other words, if you're shot down after this point, you would just die. There is no saving yourself for this session. And you'd also sacrifice any remaining rerolls. But I will give you a hint. That's my devil's deal for you.
I will take the devil's deal
Alright,
on the
Mr.
basis
Grimoire.
I have already used up my rerolls, so I will
Gain
take.
corruption, Tilly. And
Okay. I'm on 3 now. I'm not very good. I'm
Oh,
bad.
you're
goodness.
very high corruption now. Maybe if the audience redeem you, we'll see. But as you're thinking about these things, words keep on hitting you in the mind. Left behind. Left behind. Those 2 words stick out.
Left behind. I try the left behind the door. Like, see
You
it
try
to the
and
left.
touch the door, it's sheer to the wall.
Yeah.
There is the
There's
door
the-
opposite behind you.
Okay, I'll try the left behind of that door and see if there's anything to open the other door.
So as you sort of look at the door, you don't see anything there. There's just the lock where the key was.
Left behind. Left. I don't.
Turn the key in that lock, maybe.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes, left. Lefty Lucy, yes. And she turns the key.
And as you turn the key left in the door behind you, you hear a click and then a sliding noise as the door to the opposite end of the room begins to open.
I hate these doors.
And meanwhile, Miss Fairchild, give me another willpower check, please.
Okie dokie. Spooky house.
Spooky house.
Fuck the spooky house.
The spooky house is terrifying as the skeleton hands begin to whap at your legs and bats fall around you, and this is all too real for you.
How distressed am I? Do I need to
Pretty
make
distressed.
a save
You're not really
for
like affected by fear, so
Okay.
you're not as terrified as would be an actual threat because you know you're not
So-
a threat here.
Do you think
So-
I need to make a roll for my impediment? My pots.
I'm
My
going to say
irritable
yes.
heart syndrome.
I'm going to say
Okay.
that your irritable heart syndrome will come into play in this.
Okay, it's vitality, but I can use my will instead of my vitality because I have force of will. Oh, good. Yay. Okay, I don't need to lie down.
Okay, you're fine.
That's good.
So you don't need
That's
to
good.
lie down. Your heart, you begin to feel it, but you soldier through and you get to the other end of the hallway until you reach a dead end where there are 2 areas that branch off to the left and the right, and you see a sign that says, "Choose your fate."
Is there any indication of where either of them lead? Like, you know,
As you
cold
look
wind
to
coming
your
in
left-
from the exit or anything?
Oh yeah, give me a wit check on that actually.
That's 3.
Depends on how long we left. Delilah also
Even
has
on
like a
set.
nice perfume.
Yeah, even on a 7, you catch the scent of Delilah's perfume, and you also see there is an open, strange-looking, thick door to the left-hand hallway. Deep down it, but there.
I will start to head that way and just
Okay.
tell Havelock to keep hold of my skirts, alright? This
I will, he says
doesn't
and goes
look
with.
good.
And you make your way to that door, and you see a big, thick door left open, and behind it, darkness, a cavity in the wall that seems to lead around. But that scent of Delilah's perfume still comes through. Are we going in here, Mum?
These people that I'm working with, I can't just leave them alone,
Gotta be brave. You know,
apparently.
go. I'll hold on to you.
Good boy.
Mm-hmm.
Anything happens, you just stay behind me, and I'll get you out. You know, you're the first thing and the last thing,
I know, Mum.
okay?
I know. I'll be good. Thank
You
you
always are.
for bringing me here.
And I'll start to go down the stupidly scary hallway.
You begin to make your way around the stupidly scary dark hallway and then eventually down the stairs. And as you're making your way down the stairs towards a closed door with a slow little sort of swinging left and right lantern on it that flickers slightly. Could you please give me a wit check? You are muted, by the way.
Buggeration. As soon as we got through the door, I would have taken my spectacles off. So I'm using my spooky eye, just in case.
That's good. That's good.
Mm.
But what did you get on your wit check?
Oh, 9. Sorry, I'm not very witty
Would you
today.
like to re-roll that? Or are you going to settle with it?
I'm going to stick with it because I want to make sure I have a reroll in case I need to save Havelock from something.
So you begin to walk down the stairs, one at a time, taking it carefully, slowly. Each step quiet as you make your way down. And you reach the 4th to the top. And your foot
I forgot about the stupid
extends out,
trap.
and that foot begins to go down towards the trap. Havelock directly behind you, just a bit to your side. And as you step on that stair, unfortunately, I'm going to have to make a damage check.
Oh, okay.
The trap will be springing underneath you as when you step on the pressured trap, 3 spikes appear from the floor and shoot upwards quite suddenly, propelled by whatever was underneath it. And I will give a very quick damage roll. So the first of all will be on you, and this is unfortunately at a +6 in damage. That's bad.
Yep.
What's your armor?
What is my armor? I'm not wearing my armored corset. So
that would be a killing blow.
Basic base. Yep. Because I
So I'm going to
don't
ask
have
you
my
this
armor
then.
on.
Do you want to use your Devil's Own Luck to make sure that you live through this and burn that?
Fucking yeah!
Okay, cool.
Got my son with me. Shit.
So you step on it, it shoots out, and unfortunately, your Devil's Own Luck does come with a cost.
Mm-hmm.
And as you twist out of the way instinctively, you're caught in the side near the back as well as you feel these spikes hit and immediately strike straight through, almost piercing a lung. But you twist just in time, and Havelock was dutifully to your side. And you hear a slight yelp.
Mm-hmm.
And do you look back?
Yes!
As you look back, you see that one of the 3 that appeared on the step that shot you has completely gone through him.
Oh, fuck.
From the side where it was caught and through out the shoulder.
Fuck.
And that noise will be heard from the room as the wall slides open finally, and you hear that noise, that pain noise, that sudden noise. And you hear the mechanical part underneath shooting upwards from the stair.
What was that?
Doctor?
Oh, you will hear screaming. She is
I'm
screaming.
guessing I smell blood too.
You smell a lot of blood.
Someone
I think
is
it was
very
an
injured and maybe dead.
Somebody needs help. I kind of glance over the doctor and I kind of look over. Do you think I could help in any way?
Let's go. And
Yeah, she's following the
who is
doctor.
heading in the door behind back to the stairs, and who is heading forward whilst the way is still open?
I look to Magdalena. We still have a job to do.
I do need. I am starting to wonder if Cooper was kidnapped.
I think he was, Miss DeVille, and this might be our only chance. Will you come with me?
Yep. I will go with you. There just doesn't happen to be another sword laying around here. Is my sword still usable? Is it just the tip that broke off?
The tip and half the sword is broken off. You've got like a jagged bit and then a little bit of blade and handle. It's pretty useless.
I look
Okay,
to myself. Do you not have any other sharp weapons? Do you not have anything else on you?
I mean, I do, but not as efficient as my sword.
And meanwhile, Doctor.
Doctor, I can give you a trench knife.
She'd take it.
So you give the doctor gives you a trench knife. You take that, and who's heading the other way? Delilah and Varuk, I believe, are heading towards Miss
Yeah.
Fairchild.
Correct.
I'm running because I'm like, screams, what?
So you head towards the door, and you open it. And as you do, you see Miss Fairchild. You see why the scream came. You see Havelock bleeding profusely. And you see these spikes that had jutted out of the floor retreat back into it slowly. Once by once, as each kind of rung is hit, and it goes out. And you see Fairchild has a wound on their side. Miss Fairchild, you will take 1 vitality damage, by the way, as she's bleeding onto the ground slightly. And you can see the small boy Havelock is not looking good. He's alive,
All right.
barely.
Get him
But
onto the floor.
Very
Prop
wounded.
up his head. And,
I immediately do what the doctor says. I'm going to go and like basically.
I'm like
Meet-
weakly just trying to push everyone away and cradle him, but it's just there's nothing in. She has no energy here. She's just, and
And
is
can you
probably going to have to make another
again on your
sodding
heart?
roll. Because
Right.
emotional distress.
Oh,
I don't think
Miss
that's any
Fairchild, it's
bigger.
Delilah. We're trying to help.
Okay,
She's just still screaming.
you're still screaming, and you keep yourself held, but you are heavily distressed, but your heart isn't kicking out on you yet. And all of you begin to attend to that. So, I will leave you there for now. But we're going to go over to Magdalena and Tilly. As Dr. Varuk, you are trying to take the child away, but you're not having much luck yet, but you're trying to find a way to save his life.
Okay.
Magdalena and Tilly, the two of you begin to make your way slowly through the winding halls. And you make your way through this strange, very stone area as you see a door behind you begin to slide back open, and closed. And you find yourselves absorbed in this dark hallway. And at the end, Magdalena, you do hear a cry, a muffled noise, as you hear in Cooper's voice.
Cooper is back there. Muffled.
Then let us find him. And I draw my pistol.
You draw your pistol. It is dark as you both approach.
Would you mind leading the way? I think your eyes are far better than mine.
Yes, they are. I will lead way.
And you make your way to the end of the hall. And you find the door ahead of you. And inside you hear that song again, that lullaby from before. And Magdalena, do you open the door?
Yes.
And as you open the door, inside you see quite the
She'll
scene.
have the combat knife out though, and kind of do the open where she's not standing.
Yeah.
Kind of open it so she's to the side. Yeah.
And as you do, you see an interesting scene. You see Cooper, bound and gagged, in what looks to be a chair. A very strange-looking chair, very fancy-looking, plush, but also almost like something that would be in a lord's chambers, for example. And on his lap sits a small little cat doll is placed, a blue cat on his lap. And behind him, you see there are multiple skeletons in different states of decay, wearing different clothing, all seemingly very fancy and of children. And you see at least 8 of these, all sat in chairs, arranged almost as if at a large tea party. So, Cooper is sat there as well. And as you enter, Magdalena, you do see something, and so do you, Tilly. As you see across the other end of the room to the side of Cooper is what looks to be a crossbow, and there seems to be a ticking that you hear. Tick, tick, tick.
Can I see the crossbow?
And that is where we'll leave this session.
Oh, you... Oh! Come on! Just a little
There's still 20 minutes. Come on, man. Do I at least see the necromancer?
Oh my
Magdalena
God.
totally believes that this is part of the spooky house.
You don't see a necromancer, unfortunately, but
Oh my
with today,
God.
this being as good a moment it is to end the session.
No.
I think this is a sufficient cliffhanger for everyone out there.
Ooh.
And also,
There's not even any rotten vegetables to throw.
there isn't, no. There isn't any rotten vegetables. But
I
we
was
will,
handing alcohol if you like.
before the end.
I have one of those too.
No, I hope everybody's had fun. I hope everybody over in the audience has had fun as well. I hope you enjoyed the cliffhanger. Tune in next week to see if Chicken Boy dies, to see how angry Lord Bok is, and also to see the fate of Havelock, who at this moment is critically wounded. And Doctor, you will have to almost perform a miracle to save this boy, just so you know. So we'll see if you can.
Between the two of us, we have one re-roll. Do we get them reset into per session or per?
You get them every session. The next session, you get your rolls back for Baruch. So, however, for medicine, it will be on Baruch, unfortunately. So you can't give him he's got his own. So, with that in mind, I know, I'm sorry.
No,
Well-
totally fair.
I just was.
I
was,
brought a 5-year-old to a kidnapping hunt. I should expect it bad.
There was a great babysitter right there.
I don't trust that man.
Just in the people with Mr.
I
Grandma.
trust him implicitly. I trust him implicitly with both of my characters, which might say something about me, or it could say something about him. I don't know.
Probably,
Oh my goodness.
probably. But
I
speaking
completely
of-
forgot about the stunning
Bit of
trap.
both.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, you didn't know in character as well, so that's why I was like, "Hey, we're check. Do you want to re-roll that?" And you were like, "No," and I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I was really annoyed. I was gonna say I would have stopped, but we just
I
wanted
at
to go
least
on.
was like, "It's okay because we won't get too much damage on this, so it's fine." But then,
Yeah.
I have to ask. If I'd have died, would he have been okay?
no, he'd have been dead as shit. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
He'd have been
okay.
alive still. He was behind you, so as long as you hadn't used your devil's own luck, he would have technically just been skimmed. He would have been slightly hurt,
No.
but not.
Oh.
But then his mother would have been murdered.
Ugh.
Right in
then
front of
you-
his eyes.
And Magdalena would have had to have a talk with him, like, I know how you feel. My mother died at old age when I was very young, so I'm totally
of old age, yeah, of course. Yes, so unfortunately, if you had not have used your devil's own luck, Havelock would not have been in the firing range. But that is Unhallowed, everybody.
Yep,
That
yep,
is
that's
how
how it
Unhallowed
works.
Metropolis works. The
Totally
devil's
fair.
own luck, for those of you who are watching as well, to explain that mechanic, because this is the first time it's come into play in this sort of a way. The devil's own luck is a thing in Unhallowed Metropolis, which is where you can save your character from whatever fate you're at, but there is a cost, and that cost is decided by the situation and, of course, me, the narrator. And in this case, it has to be something that affects the character as well. So, but with that in mind, so you know in the future when people pull that kind of stuff again, we'll go around, we'll see how everybody's feeling, we'll talk about where we can find you, something you're working on, maybe a game you've got coming up, and tell us 2 of your favorite moments today, because it's Halloween. So, we'll start with the person with the face on themselves, Delilah Berkeley.
Hi. This was a session that I really, really have strong feelings about the ending for. In terms of two favorite moments of this session, probably when Magdalena broke her sword and was like pretty upset about that. It was just like everywhere else is like, oh, like we're doing this really creeptacular thing. He's like, my sword. I'm like, oh. While you've completely spoiled your immortal identity to us now, but hey, whatever.
No, you guys are stupid humans. You never figure it out. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. Another thing I really liked was Miss Tilly Griffith's little cat detective, quite literally throughout the entirety of the thing. Those two are pretty awesome, and of course the ending. Every time I feel upset, I consider that something I liked. So good job again, Hollow. You broke my heart successfully as usual. And as for me, I played Adelia Berkeley. As before, I'm Lark Lawyer on Twitter and Lawyer Lark on Instagram, where you always will find me a bit more active there. Though this time, for once, you'll find me again on the internets, as we will be playing some sort of special Halloween thing this, I think, Saturday. Woo!
We certainly will be. And thank you very much for playing. It's always good to have you. And we'll move over to our Vampire of the Day and every day, Magdalena.
Yes. Just so everyone knows, that sword was her 100th birthday present, so she's had it for 350 years, and she's a little attached. That's all. But anyways, that was so much fun. Favorite parts, I liked apple bobbing a lot. That was so much fun. I didn't think about it, then I was like, wait, I was built for this, and I still haven't eaten those apples, so maybe if Cooper survives this, he can get an apple.
Maybe.
Bless him. I love him. I am very concerned about him, but Magdalena's like, he's just a human kid. I mean, yeah, he has chickens, but whatever. And I really liked when Magdalena accidentally lets something slip, and then the doctor and Delilah are all like, discussing it. I thought that was really good. They're figuring it out. She's really bad at secrets, and I can't wait to find out what happens to our poor little injured boy. He's my heart. I'm gonna be stressed until next Thursday. So thanks,
I know.
Hollow.
I know. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome.
All the children in jeopardy, all of it. But you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. You can find me here every Tuesday and Thursday for Tentacle Tuesday and Death's Curios. This coming Tuesday, as was decided late last night, I will be DMing Call of Cthulhu, so I will be the DM for Tentacle Tuesdays coming Tuesday, so check it out. I don't know what I'm going to run yet, but it'll be something entertaining. Also, you should check out my channel. Probably tonight, I'm probably going to stream some Graveyard Keeper, because it's Halloween, and I'm already vamped up.
Really good.
So why not? Yeah, and then tomorrow night on my channel at 8 Eastern, Hollow is going to be DMing a spooky Call of Cthulhu one-shot on my channel, and then the next morning, I'm going to be DMing a spoopy Teenagers from Outer Space one-shot on a Hollowtails channel, because we're just swapping Halloween one-shots, so check it out. We're doing trade. It's going to be super fun, and check out my channel for 2 DMs a week, at least.
Very much so. Definitely check that out, and especially Ravenloft. That one's damn good. So,
yeah, super
speaking of damn good, and also, I'm sorry, missed that child.
No, not your fault. I made the deal. I should have known that was coming. Hi, I'm Shakespeare. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shakespeare, and all of the information about my upcoming games is on my Twitter. Favorite bits? Well, it's just gotta be the bit where my son died. That's stands out brilliantly. Miss Fairchild is utterly broken, but I love it. I love the angst and the terribleness. It's brilliant. It's why I really love the horror games. It's absolutely fantastic. So don't feel sorry at all. It's gonna stress me till next Thursday trying to figure out what's going to happen, because I don't know whether I want him to live or die now. Second favorite moment, it's just got to be the carnival. It was absolutely fantastic. The descriptions of all of the acts and the apple bobbing, and also just Miss Fairchild giving, Grimoire the side eye all the fucking time. Tilly, you could do better. Saying it right now, you can do better. And just it was really great. Oh, this is a really great session. It was just so brilliant. I'm so looking
super
forward to
happy
what
you
this is going to do to her.
Definitely the same on that one. Definitely the same. But thank you so much for playing, Shakes, as usual. And Tilly Griffiths, thank you for playing.
Hello, I'm Humbledore. I play Tilly Griffiths. Favourite moments? Oh boy. Apple bobbing definitely was up there. Throwing shade and simultaneously being mortified by Mr. Grimmel, also up there. Oh, Miss Fairchild, or No Child as we'll now call you. Very sad.
No!
Sans Child. I could go for a while, but
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, like that's. Oh, I so need to know what happens next week. And
Wait till you find out her first name. It's just yeah.
Oh, like don't say it's like I don't know. I don't know. I can't think right now. I'm like
It's so extra fitting because their child's dying at the fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Oh my god, no!
Fitting, it's all
Child, that's what we'll call it at the funeral. That'd be awful. Oh man, I'm so sad.
It's
And
not
yeah,
a funeral. The band would be
excited.
like da 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 da. It'd be really bad.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Games you can find me in. So I'm playing in the Teenagers in Outer Space, which the lovely Lindy is running very soon. I'm also playing in on Mondays, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, heavily edited by our wonderful Hollow
Yeah,
Tale.
it's pretty much not Saltmarsh at this point.
Yeah, but it's like pirate. It's pirates. We raided a ship. It was lovely. So yeah, come and check that out if you're a fan of anything that goes on here. Come and check that out. And thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Dr. Bloodface. I mean, Farouk.
Derut.
Derut.
Greybeard Tavern. My favorite bits had to be the total when Magdalena going and trying not to out herself, and Delilah and I being like, "What? Did she just? Yeah, she is. I know it. I've been saying it from the beginning." Sort of thing.
Totally
And
understand that one.
yeah, and the dice were against me. This was a rough evening, so hopefully we got that bad dice away, because supposedly I am the greatest surgeon in the world according to my skills I chose. So we'll see if we can save the boy.
We'll see if we can.
So yeah, I'm holding on till next week. I mean, that was probably, I mean, not like, ooh, my favorite, but a very heavy bit. I like the heavy drama. One of the other channels I play on, it's heavy drama. And so, yeah, so that would be my other part.
Brilliant.
Other than that, today was my 10th game in 8 days. And so tomorrow is my first day not gaming in
That's for sure.
8 days. It was fun. It was cool. It was a great ride. But it's this season. So then I got tomorrow off, and then Saturday I'll be a teenager in space also. And we'll see how that goes. I'm way behind on all that because I've had so many games. So I got to catch up on the primer and all the talk. So we'll be there soon.
Thank you so much for playing, Greybeard. It's always good to have you. And yeah, I'm Hollowtail. I'll be giving you a little outro bit in a minute, but just so you know who I am, I do TTRPG-based videos on YouTube at youtube.com/Hollowtail. I'm about 50 away from 2K subscribers, so if you did like today and you want to see more games ran by me, check that channel out. At the bottom's a playlist with all of the games. There is a spooky pirate one, which has the brilliant Humbledore and Shakes in, including Shakes' amazing croquet things that they make, which is brilliant, as Pete is just so good. And you can see their amazing Vanta Black Tiefling, who is absolutely amazing. Prosper, throwing out Shakespeare quotes all over the place to hurt people. And of course, our brilliant Humbledore here is playing a barbarian pirate lady as well. And they're always fun as far as I'm getting Farah and Nala confused now because they're so connected.
Because we ship it.
I know.
We ship it hard.
They're just so entwined, obviously.
They definitely are. And other than that, you can find another Unhallowed Metropolis game next week on this same channel at the same time as today, where we'll be continuing this plot. So, aside from that, tune in on Saturday on my channel and on Friday on Magdalena's channel, Laugh Love Lindy's channel. It's been a long day. And you'll find me doing my best to run them through a very spooky Call of Cthulhu scenario, which will be very fun to do. And I might be completely riffing the feel of the Twilight Zone for the entire game and coming in full suit and with the background and everything. So look out for that. Thank you very much. And on Saturday, we'll also be, of course, having Michael Mendy run a Teenagers from Outer Space one-shot on my channel, which should be amazing. So before we leave today, I have one more thing to cover with you, which is your person you have redeemed for the day. So we'll go to my spooky screen, because I like this screen. It has green fire, and that's very good for Halloween. And so this week, you all voted to redeem quite the interesting person with what happened at the end there, and you've redeemed Miss Fairchild. Miss Fairchild loses 1 rank of corruption, the 1 rank that they just gained by, unfortunately, unintentionally sacrificing their own child to a trap. So, happy Halloween, everybody. And I hope you have a lovely evening for those of you in the US, or of course, a lovely end of your night, the beginning of a new day for those of you in an hour in the UK. You've all been brilliant. I've been a hollow tale, and beware what goes bump in the night, because you never know what it might be. Good night, everybody.